Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock. The headlines: increase in parking charges in Milton Keynes, doctors warning over plans to bring Luton woman home, and man charged with rape in Aylesbury.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes have been quadrupled. The changes will be brought in next month in the run-up to Christmas. Milton Keynes Council says there will be more spaces for workers, but there are claims that existing bays are being narrowed to create the new ones. More from Matt Lockwood.
The price of over 300 standard bays will rise from 50p to £2 an hour in spaces near the Into and around Silby Boulevard. This is part of wider changes to parking in Milton Keynes, with more spaces being set aside for workers in the town. But Conservative opposition councillor Alex Walker is warning this will have a negative impact on trade. He says the council's creating more spaces for workers at the expense of shoppers.
A burns expert says it might not be the right thing to transfer a Luton woman injured in the Romanian nightclub fire back to the UK. Elsa Albu has been in an induced coma since the blaze. Her fiancé, Dwayne Mensah, wants her moved to a hospital in Britain. But Dr Sarah Pape, who's flown out to Romania to help, says they don't want to risk making matters worse.
We certainly had her on the list of patients we were planning to move out. But I have to say she was relatively low on the list because we knew that she had some other serious issues. And unfortunately, on Sunday, when we were finalising the plans, we were advised by her doctors that her condition had deteriorated slightly.
An 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury town centre in the early hours of Saturday morning. Florin Christian Stajaru of Hilton Avenue in the town was arrested on Tuesday. He will appear at Wickham Magistrates Court. The alleged rape occurred at around 3 a.m. on Saturday in Buckingham Street. African and EU leaders will today sign an agreement designed to reduce the numbers of economic migrants heading for Europe. The European Commission is offering £1.3 billion to help improve living conditions in Africa. 3 people were taken to hospital, one woman with serious multiple injuries following a crash on the M40 in Buckinghamshire yesterday afternoon. It happened on the southbound carriageway between Handy Cross and Loudwater at around 4 p.m. A minibus and a camper van both left the carriageway and went down an embankment. GPs are warning the number of patients having flu vaccinations in their surgeries is lower than last year. Public Health England says it could be because flu jabs are being given at pharmacies and they haven't been entered onto patient records. Dr Farah Sheikh is a GP.
We've got over 1,000 vaccines still available for our patients. So that means that compared to last year, not as many people have taken it up. We don't know whether this is because of the warmer weather that we've had at the moment in November, or whether it's because last year the flu vaccine didn't work as well.
In sport, Russian President Vladimir Putin has pledged his country's full cooperation with international anti-doping bodies, and world champion Lewis Hamilton has revealed he was involved in a minor road accident in Monaco on Monday. The Stevenage driver is now in Brazil for this weekend's Grand Prix. The weather dry and bright this morning, cloudier this afternoon, a maximum temperature 15 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Now.
On a revolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world. You tell me that it's evolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world. But when you talk about destruction, don't you know that you can count me out? Don't you know it's gonna be alright? Alright. Alright. You say you got a real solution. Well, you know, we'd all love to see the plan. You asked me for a contribution. Well, you know, we all do what we can. But if you you want money for people with minds that hate, all I can tell you is, brother, you have to wait. You know it's gonna be alright. 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 Constitution, well, you know, we all want to change your head. You tell me it's the institution, well, you know, you better free your mind instead. But if you go carrying pictures of Chairman Mao, you ain't gonna make it with anyone anyhow. But you know it's gonna be alright. Alright. Alright.
The only place that goes from that to this.
I used to be a famous artist, proud as I could be, struggling to express myself for the whole world to see. I used to blow my mind sky high, searching for the lost elation. Little did I know the door I was to find, knowing I am only me. I'm singing in my heart. I'm singing in my heart. I'm singing love to sing. I love to sing it from my heart. Oh, the creation, yeah, of which I'm doing my part. With an open heart and laugh over realization in my mind. And now I'm but a child who art erect in humility, serving out of love for everyone I meet in truth, who are really me. I'm singing in my heart. I'm singing in my heart. I'm singing love to sing. I love to sing it down from my heart. It's about time we get together to be out front and love one another. Brothers, sisters, everybody, we better start to help each other now. We need it now. When we're sharing our love, brother, that's when you know we can shape another world.
Yeah, that's the flippin' Beach Boys. That's the Beach Boys going dirty and AWOL. Drug wall, more like. Flippin' heck. Man alive. Now, here's a story, Catherine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put this out to the listener.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody will be interested in this story, and that's a bold thing to say from a man who's A, whose job is hanging by a piece of thread, and B, for a lead story. I don't think anybody will be interested in this story beyond a bit of...
I hear that. Can I just say, the other things that we had were worse.
It's not. I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking that. We keep coming back to this story. Time after time. A bit ragged there. Spinal Tap reference for the Hepcats listening. The Hepcats, by the way, is a great name for a band. There probably is one. I wonder if there's a... Danny, can you see if we've got anything on the system by a band called the Hepcats? And cats could be spelt with a C or indeed a K.
And with a Z at the end.
And I'm guessing they're going to be have big quiffs, play double basses, and possibly be Norwegian. We keep coming back to this story, and as someone, maybe it's because I lived in London, right, where parking is like. I've been in London the last 3 days. One day I parked in Euston, just outside the congestion charge, and for 2 hours it's 14 quid.
Right.
And I tend, if I've got time, I tend to park in Highgate Tube. Because it's 6 quid for the day, right? Which is for London. It's bloody darn good. I'll get the tube down, and I'm in London. Wallop, bish bash bosh, Regent Street, McDonald's, the Queen. It's all
right.
there.
I hear you. I can help you out with this. Right, in London, you can go places and you pay and you can stay for as long. There's loads of stuff, right? For people who want to go...
Stay, day, 3 words.
People who want to go shopping, the high streets around here are rubbish.
Yep, yeah.
So you've got limited places you can go. There are some sort of out-of-town retail parks where you might have a Next and a Sports Direct and a Toys R Us, right? Years. And you can pay for nothing. You don't pay any parking.
Jeffrey swallows the cost for Toys R Us, doesn't he? He swallows it.
He certainly does. That's why he's got a long neck. But then there's other places like Milton Keynes. When I was a kid, we used to go to Milton Keynes every Saturday and spend all day there.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But we'd spend all day there.
It's not a city.
No, it isn't.
It's not a city where the girls are so pretty.
Anyway, for a lot of people, if you want to go...
A lot of fit girls in Milton Keynes. I apologise to the ladies in Milton Keynes. No, I know. I'm just saying that.
It's nice of you to say. Anyway, for a lot of people, Milton Keynes is their biggest shopping centre.
I know. But...
and they will be going there this Christmas.
We're going to do this story, guys, and then I want you to say...
Are you bothered?
Are you bothered? Are you bothered by it? Because I suspect that most of you are going, oh, that's inconvenient. Oh, well, that's life.
Do you know what, though? This sort of stuff makes me shop online.
The cost of parking in some parts of central Milton Keynes is being quadrupled in the run-up to Christmas. Meanwhile, Bedford Borough Council's hoping to increase footfall by dropping charges altogether. Catherine's got more on this. How badly will people be hit in the pockets by these charges?
Well, the price of 328 standard bays will rise from 50p to £2 an hour in spaces near... They're calling it the Into. We know it as the Centre MK, OK? And around... Or the Arndale, if you're from the older days.
I don't really know Milton Keynes that well, apart from when I used to work at FM 103.3 Horizon.
Around the main shopping centre.
Playing today's better music mix.
This is part of wider changes to parking in Milton Keynes, with more spaces being set aside for workers in the... It says city. We all know it's not.
It's a town. And Luton... Can I just say, Luton Airport is not London. We're going to fix these things. We're going to fix this, don't worry. Thank you.
So the council's making this extra 560 premium rate parking spaces available, making premium rate spaces available.
Thanks, guys.
For workers there, for employees to use Monday to Friday, and I imagine pay. Premium rate. But Conservative spokesman for Transport and Highways, Alex Walker, says the decision's been a real disappointment. He's warning these charges will have a negative impact on the trade in the run-up to Christmas. He says the council's creating more spaces for workers, but at the expense of shoppers. And we understand the changes will come into effect on the 7th of December.
What have the council said in response?
The council says this is about making the best use of the parking spaces it has. It's promised to create 1,000 spaces to support employee parking this financial year, and says the move is expected to have a neutral impact on parking income. In other words, they won't be making any money out of it. The council says parking charges are a good thing because they reduce vehicle usage and congestion levels. So they stop people driving. Is that what that means? Also, it's worth pointing out that the council money they're going to get from parking charges is ring-fenced and has to be spent on things like improving roads and public transport.
What about our other councils? Do they have any plans to increase charges in the run-up to Christmas? He said, knowing the answer.
Well, yeah, because it's here. We had a quick ring around some of our councils in Bedfordshire. I don't know why we didn't ring the others. Luton Borough Council say they have no plans to amend any parking charges in the town in the run-up to Christmas. Bedford Borough is extending the town's free parking scheme in December. At the moment, I think it's Sundays you can park for nothing. For the whole of the month, shoppers will not have to pay for the first 2 hours parking at the multi-storey in Queen Street, plus 2 hours free parking on Saturday and all-day free parking on a Sunday.
Is that free parking place in Milton Keynes still there?
Yeah.
Remember, you took me to a free parking space in Milton Keynes?
Yeah, but you got 2 hours. But it just means that you don't spend all day there and might not spend as much money.
This is partly why I think people go, oh. So there's a free parking space. It's not that much more of a walk.
No.
Use that?
Yeah.
My mum, when we
Everyone
used to go,
does at Christmas, so that's the point.
when we used to go shopping in Slair, she'd park like 3 miles out of the town because it was free, and then we'd have to walk in, we'd have to traipse in as kids. Traipse in as kids and left as men. Even my sister. Right, let's have this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Neaston on the North Circular Road, there are queues westbound from the M1 at Staples Corner through the roadworks to the Neaston interchange. In St Albans, there's roadworks on the North Orbital Road between the Park Street roundabout and the London Coney roundabout, so there's a lane closed each way, so that could cause some delays later on. But it's looking okay at the moment on the speed sensors. And on the M1, things are all moving fine, and especially through the roadworks between junction 12 for Flitwick and 11 for Dunstable, where there's a lane closed each way there too, but they expect delays there later on. On the trains on the London Overground, there's no service between Watford Junction and Wilson Junction because of emergency engineering works at South Kenton. That's also affecting the Bakerloo line between Stonebridge Park and Harrow and Wilson. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's easy for you to say. 6:16. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Parking charges in some parts of Milton Keynes are being quadrupled. The changes will be brought in next month in the run-up to Christmas. Doctors are warning that a Luton woman badly injured in a nightclub fire in Romania may not be well enough to be moved back to the UK despite her fiancé's wishes. And an 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury Town Centre in the early hours of Saturday morning.
Three Counties Sport.
On Saturday, Luton.
Benson right edge of the penalty area, gets the cross in towards McCoy.
And Stevenage.
It's with Pett inside the area, turns it back.
Return to league action after success in the FA Cup.
Oh, it'll come to McCoy, and he scored again. And McCoy in the right place at the right time.
And we'll bring you live commentary on both games in Three Counties Sport.
Shot from Schumacher, that finds the net, bottom left-hand corner.
Saturday from 2, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
My blooming computer, Catherine. I wanted to... just bear with me. I wonder if I've got Stephen Stills on here. I want to play...
I had a dream about David Crosby last night.
I didn't mention...
No, but
did not mention David Crosby.
But when you say that...
OK, well, what happened in your dream about the walrus of folk, David Crosby?
I was in this big, old American house and they're having a party. And there was loads of people there, sort of Dad's friends.
Oh, hang on a minute. I've just remembered...
And he was there.
Other people's dreams are well boring.
Yeah, it wasn't a rude dream.
Well, hang on. Crosby, Stills, Nash. Let's try box set disc. We want the box set disc for it. Might be on my iPod. They've got a song called After the Dolphin. Oh, can't play that one. It makes me cry. I'm trying to find... He does a silly song, a solo song, and a very poor album. And it's called 50-50. And it reminds me of... the Miami Sound Machine.
Oh, I like them.
Yeah, I like them too. Here it is. It's hang on. This is absolutely ridiculous and yet wonderful at the same time. Hang on a second. Hit play. There we go. Here we go.
When I wake up in the morning, no one by my side, nowhere left to hide. I thought music was enough. I could fill the empty spaces, wandering the halls, bouncing off the walls, too high to hear the song or recall the deeper meaning. There is but to seek redress from this wretched loneliness with love. For 100 at a time. Love. That's 50-50. With both of us this time. I can hear my love, and she wouldn't try to change me. She knows that I will try to be the best of me that I can be, and that is change enough. I couldn't lose myself trying to please her, and after all was said and done, she might not like what I've become. So listen to your love. If you let it will tell you. You got to try again. Find your lover, confidant and friend. That's 50-50 for 100 at a time. Love. song, and the part that never changes. The rhythm and the symmetry of love's collected poetry. Listen close enough, hear the whispers of forever. What we have ourselves become, 1 and 1 is still 1 love. That's 50-50 for 100 at a time. Love, love, love. That's 50-50 with both of us this time. Love, love. That's 50-50 for 100 at a time. Love, 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 love. That's 50-50 with both of us this time.
Take it to the bridge. Isn't it ridiculous?
Hilarious.
Absolutely ridiculous. It is Stephen Stills' most insane, and he did go insane, primarily because of the copious amounts of cocaine he imbibed. He would go around telling stories about how he'd won 3 Purple Hearts while serving in Vietnam. He was in the Buffalo Springfield when the Vietnam War was going on. He never served in Vietnam, but he would go around in military uniform.
Wow.
And display his Purple Heart medals.
And people saw him, right, singing about anti-war songs.
Yeah.
Plausible then.
Speaking of anti-war, it's a guy we have to stop him doing his anti-war rants whenever we can. It's Justin Daly. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning, boss.
We are not here as your political mouthpiece. Please remember that. I don't want any of us to get into trouble for your ridiculous left-wing rants. Is that okay?
Yes, your message taken on board.
You right, fella?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Yourself?
But a bit of a headache today. A little bit of a headache. I've taken some pills, waiting for him to kick in. They might not, so I might take a few more. That's the way I roll.
I have a bag full of tabs. Whenever you need them, just let me know.
Hello, I remember those parties in the 90s. When you say tabs, that could. What do you mean, LSD? Do you mean cigarettes? What do you mean?
I mean paracetamol tablets.
By the way, guys, can we say hello to our new pet? Morning, Danny.
Hi. Is pet now?
There we go. You see, Danny, we asked for a hep cat.
Yeah. I found one hep cat.
Well, yeah, you found a hep cat.
Yeah.
Should we have a little listen? Should we have a listen to Penny Reel by Hep Cat?
Well, I think we should.
I did ask specifically for the Hep Cat.
Look, I can't make bands.
Well, hang on. What? Well, I can break them. Here we go. Hang on. Oh, old school kind of reggae style. Here we go. I'm assuming you've checked the lyrics to make sure they're not racist or sweary. Yep. Well done.
This is Scar, isn't it?
That's Scar. That's what we'd call it. Scarface. Right. That's actually brilliant. We're going to play that as the next song. We'll have that. That's brilliant. You see, that's how we roll. Yeah, we'll have that. Well done, Danny boy. It's not the Hep Cats, so you're still in trouble. So more well done, me and Kath and Justin.
Yeah.
Do you want to say it? Say it.
Well done, Ian.
And?
Well done, Kath.
And?
Well done, Justin.
Thank you,
Go
Danny.
us. Go us.
Well, high fives all round. There we go. Now, a wreath of white poppies with the message "Syria, not our war" has been laid at Luton Cenotaph. Green Party campaigner Mark Scheinman has been placing the pacifist symbol there for the last 25 years. So it's the white poppies, each time with a different message in the centre. Justin, you've got more on this. Are people happy with the wreath?
Well, in short...
Don't say short when we're talking about Mark Scheinman, for goodness sakes. Be fair.
Mark is not bothered whether people approve or not. And if people have met Mark or they've heard him on the radio before, they'll probably go along with that. He is certainly a character. He's been doing this for, 25 years, and says that there's always been objections. But he says it's his right to make this statement. It's a memorial memorial for the town of Luton and the people it commemorates who fought to defend our freedom. That's what he says. He also says he's never been told he's not allowed to place his tribute at the memorial, but this year he has in actual fact been told that the mayor has received complaints and a number of requests for it to be removed.
How do the British Legion feel about this? Because the White Poppy, although started in 1942, I think, it's nothing to do with them, is it?
No, I mean, the White Poppy is produced by the Peace Pledge Union, which, as the name would suggest, is an anti-war group founded back in 1934. They feel the Red Poppy has the effects of reinforcing support and acceptance of the military, and what they're providing is an alternative, a call for peace. Last year, they say that just under 100,000 of these White Poppies were sold. As for the Royal British Legion, they would argue that they aren't glorifying war in any way, and they've told us that they have no objection to the White Poppy at all. In fact, they see no problem with people wearing it alongside the Red Poppy.
See, the story for me isn't the White Poppy. I wouldn't be brave enough to wear a White Poppy, but I fully endorse the White Poppy. I think it's the message within. Syria, not our war. That was the thing that struck me as being, should we be making political statements at war memorials, particularly on that day? I mean, I suppose the Red Poppy in a certain sense could be construed as a political statement, but it's that Syria, not our war. Well, hang on, Mr. Schreiber.
It's a bit, but of course, Mark, who will be on the programme later, would argue it's his right. If he wants to make a statement like that, it's his right to do so. But for a lot of people, I think they would be offended by that, and people have complained this year.
Who here observed the 2-minute silence at 11 o'clock?
Me.
I did.
Danny's hand's not up. Danny?
Sorry?
Thank you. You see, kids these days, no respect. I did. Where were you, Catherine?
I was in the that area where they have cups of coffee.
Sorry?
I was talking to one of the managers, and I went, shh.
Were you getting a rollicking?
No, I wasn't getting rollicking.
BBC, it's a Daily Mail exclusive. BBC staff had to silence their insolent, disrespectful managers who wanted to talk during the 2-minute silence. Dealey, whereabouts were you?
I was in the office, but somebody did say to me, right, let's have a meeting at 11 o'clock. And I went, no, we're not having a meeting at 11 o'clock. They just didn't think. One of my friends was absolutely furious. He works in Dunstable. And he said people were just walking about as normal. But I said, the thing is, a lot of people, and it sounds horrible to say this, but a lot of people are very busy and they simply wouldn't have realised the time was 11 o'clock.
I was in that there London, just off Oxford Street, and I was in a Costa Coffee.
You're right.
What's that about coffee?
Flag it.
No, a little thing there. I was in Costa Coffee and I was doing a little bit of writing, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I wasn't with anybody, so there was no question of me being silent. But I put down my phone, I put down my pen, and I sat there for 2 minutes. And then what was and the shop was still going on. And then what was interesting was one of the staff. He had an accent, a foreign accent. Went, at 11 o'clock we're going to do this. We'll do the 2-minute silence, right? And I started at 11 o'clock. They started about 1 minute past 11, but they turned the music off. They said to the customers queuing, "We're really sorry, we're doing the 2-minute silence." And then there was one guy who wanted to give his tray back. So the 2 minutes silence is on. And the guy went, "Sorry, sir, we're doing the 2 minutes. We're observing the 2-minute silence." I went, "OK, I'll just leave this here then, shall I? Thank you very much." It wasn't a 2-minute whisper. It was a 2-minute silence. All right, here's the question, and I'd like you. This is not a trick question. This is not to catch anyone out. What did you think about during the 2-minute silence? Because you couldn't have thought about soldiers for the whole 2 minutes. Dealey?
No, I did actually.
Honestly. You can't though, because our mind naturally wanders, and it's not anywhere criticism. People, if you try and meditate, right, you get about 10 seconds, and then your mind thinks about the cat food, and you bring it back. And then your mind thinks, "Oh, blimey, I've got to go to Dunstable tomorrow." You bring it back, and then a minute later, you go, "Oh, you know what? We're out of soap." And then you bring it back, and that's fine. That's a natural thing. And I just wondered what the other thoughts were that were kind of knocking at the door.
Okay, so some of my thoughts yesterday during that 2 minutes were obviously about soldiers, but also during that 2 minutes, I kind of put myself in their shoes and think to myself, how would I have felt in that situation? I get terrified walking into a pub if I see a few people I don't like in there, let alone going to war. I kind of put myself in their shoes.
Okay, that's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Kath, what did you think about?
Well, I started out thinking about my brother-in-law, who's just come back from Afghanistan, and some of the things that I know that have happened to him, and a lot of things I don't know that he's probably gone through. Started thinking about that.
Well, they have a lot of initiation ceremonies in the army, don't they?
He's not in the army; he's in the RAF. So
okay,
it's a sort of thinking man's army.
Okay, well, wowzers.
And then I was thinking about that rivalry between the two,
yeah,
and some of the rude names they call each other, and then thinking, well, actually,
there we go. Yeah, you see.
And then I saw a picture of Pudsey Bear.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, flipping heck, it's going to be Children in Need on Friday. And then I thought, right, we're still being silent. Okay.
Yeah.
And I also thought, we nearly missed that. Good job I noticed.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about my brother-in-law again. I'm thinking, one of the kids is having a birthday this weekend.
It's good, isn't it? And it's not disrespectful in any way because that's
and then
what
I thought,
we do.
Are we done yet? Is what I thought towards the end.
Kept checking my watch. And because I'd started early, everyone in the shop was finishing later than me. Anyway, Justin, thank you, mate. We'll speak.
No problem,
in fact, if you want to, we can take that to the street. What else do people think about? And it's not in any way, it's not having a dig, it's not having a... I'll tell you what I did after the travel and the news. It's really hard to think about one thing for 2 minutes. You know, it's the human with the MTV generation. So, Justin, could you take it to the streets? What else popped into people's minds?
No problem whatsoever.
Cheers, my dears. Thank you very much indeed. 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Busy on the M1 southbound from junction 10 for Luton Airport to 9 for Redbourne, and on the M25 it's slow anti-clockwise from junction 21 for the M1 to 18 for Chorleywood, and on the North Orbital Road in Bricketwood at the M25 junction 21A roundabout it's starting to look quite busy there too. In Woburn there's roadworks on Town Lane, there's temporary traffic lights at the junction for Thomas Road, so that could get busy later on. And on the trains there's no reported problems on the departure boards, but on the London Overground there's no service between Watford Junction and Wilson Junction because of emergency engineering works at South Kenton, and that's also affecting the Baker Line with no service between Harrow and Wilson and Stonebridge Park. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
With the headlines, I'm Simon Oxley. Parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes have been quadrupled. The changes will be brought in next month in the run-up to Christmas. Doctors are warning that a Luton woman badly injured in a nightclub fire in Romania may not be well enough to be moved back to the UK despite her fiancé's wishes. And an 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury Town Centre in the early hours of Saturday morning.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has pledged his country's full cooperation with international anti-doping bodies following allegations of widespread doping in Russian athletics. Mr. Putin has promised a thorough investigation of the claims, but insisted that the problem was not confined to Russia. The search is on for a New England rugby coach after Stuart Lancaster's resignation, and money is no object, according to the RFU. RFU Chief Executive Iain Ritchie says the money doesn't matter, but the right person does.
I think we'd be looking for a coach without inhibition. The most important thing is to get the right head coach. It doesn't rule out a foreign coach, doesn't rule out an English coach. The nationality is not important. Getting the right coach, if I may, is important.
World champion Lewis Hamilton has revealed he was involved in a minor road accident in Monaco on Monday. The Stevenage driver said he made a very light contact with a stationary vehicle, but no one was hurt. Hamilton delayed his flight to this weekend's Brazilian Grand Prix until yesterday on medical advice as he's been suffering with a fever. England's cricketers lost the first one-day international by 6 wickets to Pakistan in Abu Dhabi. England were all out for 216, with Pakistan reaching their target with over 6 overs to spare. Here's England captain Owen Morgan.
To be honest, I don't like making excuses. In the last 2 series that we've played, we have been slow starters. We were slow out of traps again today, losing 3 early wickets. I don't think we can dwell on things like that too much. It's a matter of learning from what we can from today and moving on to the game in 2 days' time and putting things right.
In football, Milton Keynes Dons lone striker Sam Gallagher played for England under-20s in their 4-3 defeat by France yesterday, and Luton will have nearly 2,000 fans at next weekend's match at Stevenage after selling out their allocation. 1,891 tickets have been sold for the game at the Lamex Stadium on November the 21st. BBC Three Counties News and Sport, the next full bulletin at 7.
Having
the Hepcats, guys. Oh, I've just reminded. All right, okay. So we know what the next song's going to be. It's going to be Bedazzled. Then I know what we're going to do. We're going to okay. Then we'll have Tony Farino. I've got it sorted.
That's your playlist.
So we're asking, what else did you think about during the 2 minutes silence? So I started off thinking about the soldiers.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Okay, let's be honest. I started off thinking, aren't I good for doing the 2 minute silence? Aren't I good for doing the 2 minute silence? I'm so clever. And no one else in the shop is doing it. And then they started doing it. Okay.
And you'd been counting down to when they started doing it?
Yeah. And then I started thinking about the soldiers.
Yeah.
Then I started thinking that those two girls there that were talking were quite annoying, but that's their right to be annoying and to be talking, and that's absolutely fine. And some people get angry by that, but actually, do you know what? I'm not angry about that, and they can carry on talking.
And aren't I good about not being angry?
Aren't I good about not being angry? There's a lot of that going on. Then I started thinking about my boys. I often think about my boys. Then I started thinking, I don't really want to be in London. I wish I was back home. And I was thinking about I had lunch with someone, and I was thinking about, I wonder how that lunch is going to go. It went very well in the end. Then I was thinking about the soldiers again. Then it made me laugh that that fellow was going, I'll just leave this here if that's all right. Thank you very much. And then as I was looking out the window, I saw a woman with a limp, and I was thinking, you don't really see many women with limps. She had a really interesting walk.
Did she?
But she was also dressing very loudly. Like she had like a long, bright white, sort of thin coat and very bright blue trousers and and a posh walking stick. She was a young lady. So she obviously had a condition. And she was, I personally thought, all right, well, there's being, cool with having, a limp, and then there's just kind of drawing attention to yourself, love. I thought that's a bit over the top. And I thought, but that's her choice.
It's a terrible thing to say.
That's her choice. That's her freedom. Soldiers. Back to the soldiers.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, am I going to buy that CD player or not? I keep putting off buying the CD player, so I won't buy the CD player. I might do at some point, but I've been spending a bit of money recently, so I probably won't. And then I was thinking, right, I've done 2 minutes, but this lot started like a minute and a half later. What? And this is a genuine thought. We can't control our thoughts. A therapist of mine once said, look, imagine thoughts are like leaves just on a stream, just going down the and then you look at them and go, oh, that's a nice thought. I don't like that thought, but they pass. Okay, you can't control your thoughts, right? So then I was thinking, if I now start doing this work, which I need to do by 11:30, are they going to think badly of me?
Yes.
So a lot of it was about me, and I suspect that it was similar for a lot of people. 03459 455 555. Brian's in High Wycombe. Morning, Brian.
Oh, Ian, you're on a subject really. You're the first one I've really heard speaking about this, and it really is very interesting because I had I paid my respects on Sunday morning at 11 and again on the 11th. And yes, what do I do? Do I close my eyes? Do I look at the wall?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, the closing of the eyes. What do you do, Brian?
I looked on the 11th. I looked out the window and I thought, well, who does this actually? Who are we trying to remember? The father. He was in the trenches, and so I think a little bit about the time he was left there. He was in the cycle corps. They left their cycles, and when they went back, the farmhouse had been blown up. And then,
when you say cycles, you mean bicycles?
Yeah,
in trenches.
He was actually a motorcyclist.
Oh.
From what I hear, I don't suppose they got enough motorcycles, and I think he blew the bugle a bit at times. But anyway, he didn't tell me that much.
No.
A little bit about what happened once in a trench, but he was in Belgium and not at the Somme, which I think is being acknowledged now as the worst one. But I was in the canal zone, and I was extremely lucky. It was only once did I have a rifle primed and given the order, if they refuse a challenge, shoot to kill.
Oh, blimey!
But I never had to.
No.
Did
your mind just to bring you back, Brian? Just 'cause we're running out of time, I can see travel approaching.
Yeah, sure.
Did your mind wander, out of the sphere of war and soldiers and those who've lain down their lives? Did you kind of end up thinking about the shopping and the cat?
On occasions, I think I tried to be respectful and think about the war, but anyway, I don't sort of wear a poppy because I think people. I think, like the BBC, I think everyone has to have a poppy.
Yep.
And if someone came to the door, I'd buy a poppy, but I don't think I need to.
No.
I can pay my respect.
I think you did your bit. You did your bit, Brian, by fighting and stuff.
Well, anyone would, even these days, if we had to.
Oh, I don't know. Well, hang on a second. If I got called up to serve Queen and indeed country, I think I'd come up with a darn good excuse not to.
I didn't have a choice, but I didn't object. I wouldn't wear a white poppy, for example, but no, I did 2 years. Most of us who were fit to do so and didn't have another reason not to.
All right, Brian, listen, thank you very much indeed. 034, thank you, Brian. Excellent story, and thank you for your service.
I think you're forgetting the level of fear that they were going to bring the war to our country. You were seeing Europe disintegrating around us and no one standing up.
Well, hang on a second. Weapons of mass destruction could be here in 45 minutes.
Yeah, but what can we do about that?
Well, we can sign up and we can go and fight Saddam's silly sausages.
Hang on a minute.
Which is, by the way, is a great food range. If anyone, and they've all got a little moustache and a little beret. Saddam silly sausages.
It might still be a bit soon.
What's for tea, Mum? Well, we've got Saddam silly sausages. Ah, brilliant. I don't know if it is too soon. He was the bad guy.
Well, turns out he wasn't the only bad guy.
Oh, very wise words indeed. But we were told, we were led to believe.
For a long while, he was the bad guy who was good for us.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when Saddam's silly sausages were at their peak. They took a nosedive. The WMD, that's when they took a nosedive.
They would.
And it was just...
They would.
Who was the fella?
Chemical Ali?
Chemical Ali's bubble bath.
No.
Who was the fella who, when there was like tanks rolling behind him...
Nothing's
the Americans are miles away. They are not even in this country. There's a tank behind you.
That was their PR man, wasn't it?
Who was
What was he called?
He was good. Let's ask, but he won't. Danny?
Super Mario?
There we go. You see, no,
really?
he was.
He did have a moustache, but
he was my favourite out of all of the Iraqi war.
Deny.
There's a tank behind you, mate. No, there's not.
Nothing
Can't see it. There's a soldier. There's an American soldier stood next to you arresting you. No, there's not. No. Anyway, 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Slow on the A1M southbound at junction 7 for the A602 for Stevenage, and on the M1 it's busy southbound from junction 10 for Luton Airport to 9 for Redbourne, and the M25 is busy anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford. In Borehamwood on the A1 it's starting to queue southbound between the Holiday Inn and the Stirling Corner, and on the train departure boards there's no delay showing up, but there is on the London Overground. There's no service between Watford Junction and Wilson Junction because of emergency engineering works at South Kenton, and that also means there's no service on the Bakerloo line between Harrow and Wilston and Stonebridge Park. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. So, we're going to play two cracking songs in a minute, but it gives you a chance to call in. The question is, what else did you think about in the 2-minute silence? Because anyone who's even tried to meditate, right, you can't do it. You can't think about one thing without practice for more than 20 seconds. It's hard. 03 459 455 555 is the telephone number. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes are being quadrupled. The changes will be brought in next month in the run-up to Christmas. Doctors are warning that a Luton woman badly injured in a nightclub fire in Romania may not be well enough to be moved back to the UK despite her fiancé's wishes, and an 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury in the early hours of Saturday.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's a slightly cooler start to the morning than we've been seeing so far this week, and we do have a few early mist and fog patches around as well. But generally it's going to be quite a nice day today. We've got some brightness and some sunny spells around this morning. The best of the sunshine will probably be this morning, because into the afternoon, although it will stay dry, we'll start to see the cloud mounts increase and the southwesterly breeze is going to pick up as well. So dry but turning quite breezy and cloudy. Top temperatures still on the mild side, up to around 14 or 15 Celsius, 59 in Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit. Now it'll be a dry early evening rush hour, and then gradually we're going to get this band of rain coming down from the northwest through the first part of the night, and some squally winds on this as well. This is a cold front, so tonight is going to feel chillier. In fact, we'll start off the day tomorrow on around 7 or 8 degrees Celsius, and tomorrow feeling an awful lot cooler. The air holding a lot less moisture, and the temperatures a lot lower as well, so feeling a lot more like November tomorrow. Some sunny spells, however, and also the chance of 1 or 2 sharp showers, so bring along your wet weather gear, whatever you're doing tomorrow. It's going to be a very brief cool spell, because by the time we get to the weekend, then the temperatures are going to be picking up once more, so some milder air coming through. There will be some wet weather at times on Saturday, turning quite breezy again, and the grey skies will be back. That's the forecast.
Inertia. Don't get excited. You blast me up. Save your breath. You burn me up. Cool it. You plug me in. I'm not interested. You switch me up. It's too much effort. You light me up. Don't you ever leave off. Dull. You shiver. You bore me. I'm bedazzled. I'm bedazzled. I'm bedazzled. I'm not available.
The only place that goes from that to this.
Steals other men's wives, ruining other men's lives before the husband arrives. Better look out, the wife thief's about to steal other men's wives, parking in other men's drives. It's time to sharpen your knives, to fight off the pest, the unwelcome guest. He comes like a thief in the night to take what's another man's right. So husbands, if you love your wives, beware. Insatiable, he'll never stop till finally he is on top. Because like Everest, they were there. He steals other men's wives. Nobody's marriage survives. Under their covers he dives. If you were nuts, beware, he delights in having other men's wives. This man depraves and deprives. Look how he schemes and connives. He has his fun, and then he'll run. A girl may be pretty and tan, but he is no ordinary man. For if she's single, he won't look at her. For him, it's part of the game. When she bears another man's name, well, that's the woman that he preferred. He steals other men's wives. Mr. Divorce Lawyer thrives. He feels other men's wives. Morals, who cares? A stud must have mares. Then one day I saw him, this despicable man, coming nearer and nearer. And in an instant, recognized who he was as I looked in the mirror. I steal other men's wives, ruining other men's lives. I steal other men's wives. When you're out of town, then I'll come around. At midnight we meet, I'm very discreet. You're off on that trip, I'm loosening her zip. We lock all the doors, he shoots and he scores. 3,910. Other men's wives.
Has there ever been a more ridiculous back-to-back as bedazzled by Peter Cook and Dudley Moore and then Tony Frino singing Other Men's Wives?
One man who's not interested at all, another man who can't stop being interested.
Oh, man, what songs? What songs? I was going to say something and it's completely...
Go on.
No, it's gone.
Squeeze it out, go on.
No, it's gone.
Really?
That doesn't matter. Go,
Backtrack.
Go on, what you got?
Oh, Beatles bums.
Beatles bums.
There's a thing here in the Current Bun this morning about how they've taken moulds of the Beatles' backsides so that they can make a special seat at Plymouth Hoe to commemorate the Magical Mystery Tour. You can sit where they sat.
Oh, to commemorate the terrible, terrible psychedelic flop that is the Magical Mystery Tour.
What else is Plymouth famous for,
My friend Watco went to the chip shop there.
Oh yeah, they didn't let him in, did they?
The Chinese chip shop, they did, and we have to tread carefully because they threatened it because he then mentioned it on the radio. They threatened him with all kinds of legal. So I'll stop here.
But was it true? They didn't let him in.
I don't know.
Fact.
I had lunch yesterday with Mark Mason, the author of
the postcode thing.
The postcode thing, and he's but I don't know him that well. But we had a really nice lunch, and he was telling me a brilliant story that we were talking about the Beatles. Most conversation when I'm with a bloke, at some point you can guarantee that at some point the conversation will turn to the Beatles, and Ringo Starr tells a story of how he got a phone call. It's in his book actually, the male obsession, and it's the fact for Liverpool, the L postcode. Ringo Starr in interviews told a story about he got a phone call from Paul McCartney one day, and Paul going, "Hey, Ring, you never guess where I am? I'm in John Lennon Airport." Imagine them phoning up and just joking about John Lennon. It's brilliant, isn't it?
One day we will ring each other up and say we're in Justin Dealey Towers or something, won't we?
Yeah, and that'll be slang for some form of sex offenders treatment centre. No, it'll be something. It'll be a big block.
It will. His property empire expands at a rate of knots.
Mum's 100 hiccups a day for 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
She needs a key down her back.
What?
Key down the back.
Never heard that one.
Yeah, yeah. Key down the back.
Cold one, I imagine. I like to imagine.
A fed-up mum is pleading for help after hiccuping at least 100 times a day for nearly 8 years. Who counts? Lisa Graves, 27, started hiccuping when she fell pregnant in January 2008. That's a common thing.
I was pregnant in January 2008.
No.
Too.
I'm talking about hiccuping when pregnant.
All right.
Here's a sentence I didn't finish the other day when we were talking about pregnancy, and I remember it. One of the best things about pregnant women, right? Well, no, yeah. One of the best things about pregnancy is when the baby inside the lady has hiccups.
Hiccups, yeah.
Oh, man, it's
weird.
Funny. Danny, have you ever seen a pregnant lady when the baby's got hiccups?
No, how do you know?
You can see it.
You can see it.
Really?
You see it.
That's strange.
You see the baby going...
It's brilliant.
It could just be moving.
No.
I
could tell you what it is. You can feel everything. By the end, you can feel ankles and all sorts.
Well, the weirdest thing was when I was cuddling up to my wife before the birth of our first, towards the end of the pregnancy, and you could see an elbow. Yeah. An elbow came out and he pushed me off. An elbow pushed me off.
No, that didn't happen.
I swear to God, it happened.
It does happen.
People see feet.
I used to be able to grab their feet.
It's the weirdest thing because towards the end.
It's really you're really thin.
They're baby size. They're actually the babies.
And your skin's really thin and they're really close towards the edge.
It's the weirdest thing.
You can grab elbow and the woman can tell you whether that was a hand or a head. They
scary.
Feel it.
The worst thing is when if you look carefully at night time, you see a face come out. That's the worst thing. Lisa Graves, 27, started hiccuping when she fell pregnant. Oh, I've fallen pregnant.
Get
off. I've fallen on you and I think I may be pregnant. The bout continued after first baby Emily was born and when sister Sophie followed. I don't want to hear about her family. Many of her estimated 3.4 million hiccups have been silent but violent.
You know what's gone wrong there?
Yeah.
A diaphragm. Both.
The tattoo artist's loud ones wake up husband Matthew at night. Lisa from Lincoln said, "They're almost like a scream. Some people say I sound like dinosaur. Have I gone anywhere quiet in case I get hiccup? I don't go to romantic restaurants and cinema is a no-go." That's because you've got kids, love. It's not because of hiccups.
Is that Keith Lemon?
Yeah. I went to bingo. I let out a hiccup. They thought I shouted bingo. I didn't. I let out a hiccup. The mum of two, who has baffled medics, added, "I've tried all wives' tales, from holding breath, getting people to scare me, drinking water the wrong way, and having a key down back. You name it, I've done it." She's also had X-rays, a brain scan, and a fibre optic camera. Oh, I bought. Do you know what I was out in the garden last night trying to get leaves for the stick insects. I fell down a hole in the garden.
Wow.
Fell down a hole.
What kind of hole?
I don't know.
An animal hole?
So I bought a bum camera.
Oh, God.
No, and I didn't know what the bum. We'll do the travel in a bit. I'm enjoying myself here, and I didn't know. I bought a 5 metre long bum camera, and I didn't know what they're called. So I'm on Amazon buying looking for flexible camera,
telescopic
bendy camera. To Google bum camera, and I can't remember the phrase. There's
endoscope.
Yeah, that's it, endoscope. So
Why don't you just ring me?
I
told you.
I bought an endoscope. It's only £6. I hope it's not the ones they use in medical. I hope it's new, used in slightly good condition. Could do with a clean up.
Give it a rub down with some Dettol.
You need a J cloth. Customers who bought this also bought J cloths and disinfectant. So I'm gonna when it comes. I bought one for £15. Then I cancelled it and bought one for £6.50. I thought I'm only going to use it once. I'm going to shove it down there to see if there's rabbits down there, and if there are, I'm going to block the hole up.
Oh.
No, if they're not, I'm going to. It's a massive hole. It went up to my knee.
Wow,
incredible.
There could be a lost civilization in there.
Oh, that's
really exciting.
Stop getting me so excited.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's slow on the A1M southbound at junction 7 for Stevenage, and it's also delays on the M1 southbound between junction 10 for Luton Airport and 9 for Redbourne. It's busy on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford, and also nearby on the M25 junction 21A roundabout it's looking quite busy too. On the trains on the London Overground there's no service between Watford Junction and Wilson Junction because of emergency engineering works at South Kenton. It's affecting the Bakerloo line as well from Harrow and Wilston to Stonebridge Park. There's no service. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Cass just said it might be rats. Oh, flipping, eh? Oh, it was terrifying and exciting at the same time. My boys want to dig a tunnel into next door neighbour's garden. Of course they do.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: parking charges to rise in Milton Keynes, warning over plans to bring injured Luton woman home, and man charged with rape in Aylesbury Town Centre.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes are being quadrupled. The changes will be brought in next month in the run-up to Christmas. Milton Keynes Council says there will be more spaces for workers, but there are claims that existing bays are being narrowed to create the new ones. More from Matt Lockwood.
The price of over 300 standard bays will rise from 50p to £2 an hour in spaces near the Into and around Silby Boulevard. This is part of wider changes to parking in Milton Keynes, with more spaces being set aside for workers in the town. But Conservative opposition councillor Alex Walker is warning this will have a negative impact on trade. He says the council's creating more spaces for workers at the expense of shoppers.
A burns expert says it might not be the right thing to transfer a Luton woman injured in the Romanian nightclub fire back to the UK. Elsa Albo has been in an induced coma since the blaze. Her fiancé Dwayne Mensah wants her moved back to a hospital in Britain, but Dr Sarah Pape, who's flown out to Romania to help, says they don't want to risk making matters worse.
We certainly had her on the list of patients we were planning to move out, but I have to say she was relatively low on the list this because we knew that she had some other serious issues. And unfortunately, on Sunday, when we were finalising the plans, we were advised by her doctors that her condition had deteriorated slightly.
An 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury Town Centre in the early hours of Saturday morning. Florin Christian Stajaru of Hilton Avenue in the town was arrested on Tuesday. He will appear at Wickham Magistrates Court. The alleged rape occurred at around 3 a.m. on Saturday in Buckingham Street. African and EU leaders will today sign an agreement designed to reduce the numbers of economic migrants heading for Europe. The European Commission is offering £1.3 billion to help improve living conditions in Africa. 3 people were taken to hospital, one woman with serious multiple injuries following a crash on the M40 in Buckinghamshire yesterday afternoon. It happened on the southbound carriageway between Handy Cross and Loudwater at around 4 p.m. A minibus and a camper van both left the carriageway and went down an embankment. GPs are warning that the number of patients having flu vaccinations in their surgeries is lower than last year. Public Health England says it could be because flu jabs being given at pharmacies haven't been entered onto patient records. Dr Farah Sheikh is a GP.
We've got over 1,000 vaccines still available for our patients. So that means that compared to last year, not as many people have taken it up. We don't know whether this is because of the warmer weather that we've had at the moment in November, or whether it's because last year the flu vaccine didn't work as well.
In sport, Russian President Vladimir Putin has pledged his country's full cooperation with international anti-doping bodies, and world champion Lewis Hamilton has revealed he was involved in a minor road accident in Monaco on Monday. The Stevenage driver is now in Brazil for this weekend's Grand Prix. The weather dry and bright this morning, cloudier this afternoon, a maximum temperature 15 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. So what else did you think about during the 2-minute silence? If you say for the whole 2 minutes you were thinking about those who had fallen and lost their lives and sacrificed so much for so few, whatever, I won't believe you. Not for the whole 2 minutes. The intent may have been there. It's not humanly possible, and it's not in any way a judgment call. I just want to know, where did your mind go? Where else did you go in that 2 minutes? 2 minute silence is a flippin' long time, man. Oh, Andrew's angry. Do you want to... blimey. Angry text
Across
again.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Enough with the angry text, guys, please.
I don't mind people being angry, but I mean abusive.
Abusive in the language.
You bungholes. He's calling us.
Do we want to read this out?
I just missed my exit on the M25 because I was laughing too much at your bum camera. Stuck in loads of traffic now. Andrew, angry.
Flipping heck. Listen, guys, can we just have a day where we don't get loads of people having a go at me, please? For crying out loud. Talking about Lewis Hamilton, Simon was there having a little bump. I bumped the car on Sunday.
Did you?
Yeah, I bumped it in the middle of nowhere. Took the dog out for a walk. It's amazing. Took the dog out for a walk. Couldn't sleep. Sunday, maybe it's Saturday. 7 o'clock in the morning, took this big park near me. You won't know it. I'm not local, and it was stunning. It was misty. It was damp. It was frosty. Pucker. That's.
And you had the place to yourself.
Yeah, I did. Apart from the flipping dog was there, and there's a bit where people go and fly model aeroplanes. And anyway, and we got back in the car, and the rear window was all steamed up, and the mirrors were moist with condensation. And as I reversed, and I did my knee-jerk reaction. I drove off down the road, and I thought, oh no, I can't. I've got to go back. And I went back, and I could see there was a mark on their car. And I thought, well, but what I'll do is I'll go and give it a wipe down, because it might be one of those marks that's not really a mark.
Yeah.
But there were people there getting their dogs out, and then it was just about one woman was about to go, so I could go and do it. Then a guy came, so I pretended to be on my phone. I had a mark of mine, and most of it came off. And I thought, I'm just going to sit here and wait till there's no one, and then I'll wipe the mark, and we'll see where we are. Then the couple that owned the car turned up, and I was parked next to them. And I was like, oh. And I got out. I said, I'm terribly sorry. I bumped your car as I was reversing, and if I just wipe it like this, I'm sure it'll get rid of it. And it did. There was a tiny little scratch. I said, oh, look, it's gone, but I'm more than happy if you want to exchange details. And the bloke went, I wouldn't worry about that. It used to belong to her mother. We don't care about this car very much. I was like, are you sure? Because if you want my... He said, oh, no, thank you for stopping. You're a very kind gentleman, but no, I wouldn't worry. It's a very old thing. Off.
But
I was
that's
away.
their decision to make,
That
isn't
was their
it?
decision. I was off. I was away. I was free. I was
know
guilt-free.
exactly what you mean, though. I've done that before. And your first reaction is, run away!
Yeah.
But I always, I went back. I was going to say I always go back, but I've not done it more than once.
I've done it twice. Did it in the car park in Birmingham once, and I went back, and you go back, and these things are groovy. Steve says, I was thinking, at what point did it change from a minute silence to 2 minutes? I was
think
confused.
Isn't it always 2 minutes?
No.
For those?
I think it's always 2 minutes for
Remembrance
armistice.
and armistice.
A football match is 1 minute. For.
I wonder if it's about the quantity of people who've died.
No. What, you get what? You think it's like a tally system?
Yeah. So the bigger the tragedy, the longer you have to stay silent.
So what? That is insane.
No, I'm just wondering. I'm just musing aloud.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you pop that muse in a bag and put it in the bin? Because that's nonsense.
Well, what do you think it is then?
Because it's the whole world. This is it. Because it's the whole world involved in that 2 minute silence, not just a football club.
What difference does that make?
Sorry?
What difference does that make?
Well, huge difference. It's literally.
What, it gives everyone time to catch up? Is that what you're saying?
No. It's 2 minutes because of it's the wars.
Yeah.
The world wars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you.
It's
So
not
it's
a
about
smaller...
more people than just maybe one that's being commemorated at a football match.
What's the cut-off then? How many need to have lost their lives for it to go from 1 minute to double bubble?
More than one.
Okay, well, things like Hillsborough gets a minute silence.
Oh, I thought they got 2.
I thought they got 1.
Well, let's check.
Okay. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. Here's a story that we asked you to call in if you were interested about. Nobody has. I think this will be the last time I do parking charges in Milton Keynes. I'm going to say that officially, Catherine. This is the last time, because I'm a human being, I've got feelings. This is the last time I'm ever, unless they go up like £1 million.
So is it the last time, or is it last time with a caveat?
It's the last time with a caveat. Unless it goes up by, I'm going to say £10.
All right.
I'm never doing Milton Keynes parking charges. I just think it's just... I don't think anybody cares. If you're wrong... Is it in the notes?
Just written a note to self, yeah.
Okay. If I'm wrong and you think this is an outrage and you are interested in this, 03459 455 555. I just wonder. The story is thus. Parking charges in some parts of Milton Keynes are being quadrupled just in time for Christmas. The price of over 300 standard bays near the Into and around Silbury Boulevard will rise from 50p to £2 an hour. Well, Linda Inoki is from the lobby group Explain. It has no E. Is that right, Linda? It's Explain with an X?
That's right.
Fantastic.
We like to do things differently in Milton Keynes.
Very much so. You campaign for better development in the town.
Yes.
What's your reaction to this, Linda?
I think it's really poor show, Ian. You're talking about bumping your car at the park the other day.
Yeah.
If you come and park in one of the new narrow spaces in central Milton Keynes, you're very likely to bump it there. This is just a typical scrambling piecemeal solution that the council have come up with because they made a rash promise earlier this year to find another 2,000 temporary parking spaces for employees around the business district. But whacking up parking charges for shoppers in central Milton Keynes near the shopping centre is not going to help.
Well, there are 560 more spaces for workers. So that has to be applauded, doesn't it?
It does, but you have to look at where they're going to do it. And one of the areas they're going to rack up the prices is right next to the outdoor market. 177 spaces are going up from 50p to £2 an hour. And trades are really worried about the effect this will have on their business. And they haven't even been consulted. This is an email I got from a trader last night when I told him about it. He said, this is the first I've heard of it. If these parking spaces are where I think they are, and they are, we just might as well shut up shop now because it will kill the market dead.
But why would they consult them? Because obviously they'd say no.
But you're supposed to. But Ian, it's a regulation. You're supposed to consult people that are affected by these changes.
Oh, is it the law?
It is the law.
Oh, blimey! Well,
and
in that
I
case,
don't
that's
know what
naughty.
Milton Keynes Council are playing at, other than, as I said, they've made this rash promise at the beginning of the year because the businesses, big employers in Milton Keynes, who are mostly based further away from the shopping area, are absolutely livid at the way they are mismanaging the parking in the city centre. People who work near Argos or Santander and stuff like that are paying a lot more as of this year for their employee parking.
50 pence an hour. So they're 50 pence an hour.
No, they're paying a lot for employee parking.
No, but I'm talking about the spaces that have gone up from 50 pence to £2 an hour. They're 50 pence an hour. Because 50 pence is too cheap.
Well, it's not necessarily.
That's like 1980s parking charges. That's a ridiculous amount
to pay.
to
You might say that, but it's all relative. Everything's relative, isn't it? And for Central Milton Keynes, that was quite a big raise to begin with.
Yeah, but it's Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes is like it's like a massive town. It's a massive shopping area. 50 pence an hour. That does sound to me too cheap.
Well, you might say it's too cheap, but it's not seen as too cheap locally. And believe me,
it's not.
The last time they put up parking charges, which was earlier this year, they immediately expected to make another £3 million in income. The thing is, look at the income. You might say it's too cheap, but Milton Keynes Council is one of the highest earning councils in the country from parking charges. They get £12 million a year profit from parking charges in central Milton Keynes.
We can't, Linda.
How are they using that money? They're not using it well enough.
You can't argue that councils have got too much money.
I am arguing that they've got too much money. No, you're right, Ian. But employers and people who live near Milton Keynes or visit Milton Keynes would just like to see the council using that money in a sensible, joined-up way, and they are not. This is typical of the piecemeal changes that they do. Parking in CMK is so confusing, so complicated, and this kind of thing just makes it worse. And it's actually putting people off visiting the city centre. You've got major employers that employ thousands of people in central Milton Keynes, and they're threatening to leave the city centre.
How many have left since the charges went up earlier this year?
I don't know, but I live near the city centre, and there's acres of parking spaces around the shopping area, for example, which are empty every day of the week. Now, that tells you that
Saturdays?
something's wrong. Even on a Saturday, even next to John Lewis's.
They won't. Thing is, they won't be empty in the next 4 or 5 weeks because it's Christmas.
No, and look at that. The council's put these prices up just in time for Christmas. Well, thanks very much.
Linda, I feel your passion, and I appreciate you coming on and putting forward your argument. Linda Inoki from the lobby group Explain. 03 459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. And genuinely, this will be the last time. Thank you, Linda. I enjoyed that. But this will be the last time that I ever do parking charges in Milton Keynes because I think it's a really small, tedious story, okay? But hey, what do I know? I'm just a bloke that listens to a lot of radio and I know what makes me switch off and what makes me stay in my car an extra 5 minutes to listen. This would not be one of them. If I've got this wrong, though, and you're there and you share Linda's frustration, and I'm going to say it, fury, charges going up from 50 pence an hour, it feels very cheap to me, to £2 an hour, 03459 455 555. Let's talk.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 into London has been blocked by an accident just before Junction 5 for Watford, and that's causing a delay back from the Junction 6A for the M25 now. On the M25, it's busy anti-clockwise between Junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford, and also clockwise it's slow from Junction 22 for St Albans to 23 for the A1M at South Mims. On the A1M, it's busy southbound at Junction 7 for Stevenage, and the A1 is slow southbound from the St Neots Junction towards the Black Cat roundabout. On the trains, London Overground has no service between Watford Junction and Wilson Junction because of emergency engineering works at South Kenton, and it's also affecting the Bakerloo line with no service between Harrow and Wilston and Stonebridge Park. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you. When you get a tweet from one of your colleagues who's due on air in the next, 15, 20 minutes, and that tweet says, disgusting and emotional stories on the streets today, report coming up after 7:30 at Justin Dealey. You know that's a good reason to, whatever you've got planned at 7:30, cancel it. He's got disgusting and emotional stories, guys. Cancel it. Whatever you got, it'll be about 7:33. Whatever you got planned, cancel it. Cancel it. Dealey's going to trumpet. Dealey's got a trumpet. Dealey's trumped. Get Dealey out. He's trumped and it stinks. 7:17. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes are being quadrupled. The changes will be brought in next month in the run-up to Christmas. Doctors are warning that a Luton woman badly injured in a nightclub fire in Romania may not be well enough to be moved back to the UK, despite her fiancé's wishes. And an 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury town centre.
Nick Coffer's Weekend Kitchen.
Among 8 fabulous dishes for you to make at home in this week's Weekend Kitchen, a comforting autumn spotted dick.
It's the right time of year for the nice steamed puddings, a roly-poly or indeed the spotted dick.
Spectacular prawn linguine.
At the end, we just toss in the Atlantic prawns because all you want to do with those prawns, because they're cooked, is just heat them through at the end.
And the ultimate homemade donuts with a salted caramel filling.
Nick Coffer's Weekend Kitchen.
Get all the recipes Sunday morning here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yep. So Catherine buzzed me and said she had some facts about the 2-minute silence. Catherine, let's get the facts.
The origin of Remembrance Day silence.
How long is this going to go on for, by the way?
Cape Town. 2 minutes. 1 minute for those who came back.
Yeah.
The other minute for those who didn't.
Okay. What about those yet to go?
They didn't think about that in 1918.
Okay, so
I
that's
think they'd sent everyone they could.
Cape Town, of all places.
Yeah.
Okay, but so then what's a minute silence for?
A minute silence was initially from an idea by Major Wellesley Tudor Pole. People were asked to devote 1 minute of prayer for peace at 9 o'clock each evening. He said, "There is no power on earth that can withstand the united cooperation of spiritual levels of men and women of goodwill everywhere. It's for this reason that the continued and widespread observance of the silent minute is of such vital importance in the interest of human welfare."
Well, every night?
Yeah.
That would be flipping awesome. 7:30. 8 o'clock. 7...
How long did the Second World War go on for?
5 years, 6 years, 5,
Yeah,
6
I
years.
think it took a little bit more,
No,
Major
but-
Wellesley Tudor Pole, with respect.
No. But
than
imagine
willpower.
if we... I'm just trying to think when the kids would be... let's say 7:30 for 8. 7:30, everyone has a minute's silence across the country. We do it every day. The TV goes... doo, the radio, whatever's on, Mark Forrest, you can go out and
Yeah.
feed his goat.
Wi-Fi signal goes.
Yeah, everything for a minute. I had someone sending me a tweet. I thought it was aimed at me, but it turns out it wasn't.
Oh, I saw
really
that.
sweary tweet about these flipping idiots. Some flipping idiot was tweeting during the 2-minute silence. Sorry, and I noticed that we had an email. Where's the email that was sent around here? Please, can we respect the 2-minute silence on all our digital outlets this morning? Now, is sending a tweet breaking the silence?
You're obviously not thinking about what you should be thinking
Well,
about,
okay. What if the
according
tweet?
to society.
What if the tweet is just remembering all those that fell? Hashtag lest we forget.
Well, you don't need to document that, do you?
No, but what if that's your tweet? I mean, this is a serious thing. The silence. Can you update your Facebook status during the 2-minute silence? I was surprised by the anger of that person on Twitter, directed at someone who refused to tell me it was, who tweeted.
But as you know, it has turned a little bit into respectful top trumps. Often expressed really disrespectfully.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I mean, maybe we'll do that text in a bit as well. Anyway, why are we talking about this? Because of this. A wreath of white poppies with the message, "Syria, not our war," has been laid at Luton Cenotaph. The wreath has been a part of the town's Remembrance Day service. And you should read this. As a producer, Catherine, you should read this, Q, and see if you can work out the bits that are missing. The wreath has been part of the town's Remembrance Day service for around 25 years, and each year includes a different message at its centre. Well, the gentleman responsible for that is Mr. Mark Shyman, and Mark joins me now. Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Ian. I would welcome your third question of a third minute for those who have yet to not come back from war, because that's the whole point of the White Peace Poppy movement, to try and prevent war.
Yeah, do you know what? I said that in a slightly flippant way, but actually, I think there's some weight in that having an extra minute for those who have yet to go. Now, personally, I don't have a problem with the white poppy, Mark.
Yes.
I flirted with it in the 90s. I don't think I would be brave enough to wear it now, because it does get it gets people very hot under the collar, doesn't it?
Yes, it can get some hot under the collar, although leaving on Armistice Day and also on Remembrance Day, I must have shook hands with about 20 soldiers who said, "Nice to see you," because they recognise the sincerity that lies behind what I'm trying to say in the message about peace and the message that I hope to send to our politicians.
So the white poppy, if I got this right, is a pacifist thing, late 30s, early 40s, basically saying, you know, we respect those that have died. We're not in any way dissing those people that have given their lives or their limbs or whatever for us, but we don't like war and we're pacifists.
That's right, and we've always got to remember that 90% of the victims of wars are civilians. And, that they are the innocent. It's the death of the innocents that we hate. And we're also very concerned about the number of refugees trying to get out of Syria. And we're proposing more and more bombing
and this is what
that's on its knees.
And this is why I got you on, Mark. Not the white poppy thing. I know some people have tried to turn this into a thing, the white poppy thing, that we can't hear it every year.
Yeah.
Catherine's just updated the screen. Thank you, Catherine. That's much clearer.
I mean, I wear both poppies. I wear the red and the white poppy.
The white poppy, not got a problem with. It was the comment within the wreath that you placed.
Yes.
Syria, not our war.
Yes.
Why did you put that there? Why did you feel that was appropriate?
Because I'm trying to prevent further warfare and harm coming to a nation that's already on its knees. It's got enough problems. It doesn't need us to come in and create more problems. The bomb that was left on the Russian aeroplane came probably directly from those opposed to the Russian heavy bombings in Syria.
Hang on a minute. Have I missed something?
Yeah.
When was it confirmed that it was a bomb?
It has been confirmed by the British government, saying that it is 90% likely that it was a bomb that caused it. Now, obviously, we haven't gone through the official tests and everything on the aircraft. That will take some considerable time. But it is felt that because of the explosion was heard on the black boxes, which ironically are always orange, that the explosion went off, that unless there was some major catastrophic failure of that aircraft, it is more than likely that it was a bomb that caused it. So,
why?
So
Okay. We're getting sidetracked slightly, Mark.
Increased bombings in Syria.
Yeah. Okay.
How much are we putting not only our troops under threat?
Yeah.
How much are we putting ourselves under future threat?
But Mark, the aeroplane to one side.
Yeah.
Why on a memorial wreath? On a memorial statue in Luton on Remembrance Day. That's a political statement you're making.
Yes, but
why do you really think that at that moment? Yeah, your sentiment might be right. You know, it might not be our war. I don't know, but to do it at that moment when you know, Mark, that could pee off some people.
Well, it might do, but I believe that the memory of those killed in warfare is best served by ensuring that such deaths never happen again, and therefore we don't run gladly into a new war. And we had at that Remembrance Day on the Sunday, and we didn't have on the armistice, but we had both of our town's politicians there, and I hope that they saw it. They smiled when they looked at it, and I hope there was some sympathy for the idea that if there is another government vote, that they will vote against war.
Or they thought, look at what Shimon's done now. He's sticking two fingers up to our war dead.
No, it's not sticking two fingers up to our war dead. It's certainly not. Because if we respect and we mourn and we love those people who died, then surely we want to make sure that there is no more. There has to be an end. It might only be aspirational. I might sometimes feel like I'm trying to push a boulder up a very tall hill, but there are many of us trying to push that boulder. These wreaths have appeared at the UK London Cenotaph, the War Veterans for Peace group were there and stood and came with a much more political statement than I ever had in the simple words that I put. There is a calling number of people and there is a calling sway of people, and I looked at the young children there and I thought, please, no. I mean, on Sunday, had my 7-year-old son who just held his hand on his heart wearing a white and a red peace poppy, and I don't want to send him to any future war.
I don't want to send my boys to war. I don't want to send my boys to war, but I just wonder, right? And you know me, I'm a big mouth, right? And I'm constantly getting in trouble for putting my heart on my sleeve, chucking it in other people's faces, right? And I'm all for saying what you want to say.
Yeah.
I just think that place, that moment. Was it really? You could have done it before, you could have done it after. Just that moment when people would be looking directly there, that 2-minute silence, having a wreath, and not the white poppies, I've not got a problem with that, but having a wreath where in the middle it says, Syria, not our war, where you're making a political statement that could be perceived as detracting from the reason that people are there. Even I'm erring on the side of thinking that might be a little bit disrespectful.
But isn't it politics that always starts wars?
Huh?
There is very seldom two human beings facing each other in the field of conflict that say, I hate you and you're a terrible person, you don't deserve to live. It's always those that stand behind in the governments, in the ranks, and those sort of people who watch and send other innocent people to go and fight their wars. And this is the problem.
Supposing they gave a war mark and nobody came.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed, Mark. Thank you. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome. Your thoughts on that, please. How many people, Catherine, thank you for that, Mark, by the way. How many people, Catherine, have got in touch to say, yes, thank God you guys are doing the Milton Keynes parking charges story because no one else will?
Let me do a quick tally. I'm just going to look at the text here. And Twitter.
Count them up.
And the emails. Right, here we go.
Yep.
Emails always tend to yield this sort of stuff. I can say there's definitely no more than...
Do you see?
No more than one.
Do you see? When you say no more than one...
There's less than one.
Thank you very much indeed. You see, guys, we're never touching this stinky story.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are queues on the M1 into London from the M25 towards Junction 5 for Watford because of an accident. It's being moved to the hard shoulder now, and also the M25 anti-clockwise has queues just after Junction 21 for the M1. There's been an accident, so that's causing delays from Junction 22 for St Albans. In Frogmore on the North Orbital Road, there are queues southbound from the Park Street roundabout towards the M1 at Junction 6 for North Watford because of those problems on the M1. And in Bromham on the Bromham Road eastbound, it's very busy between the Branston Way and the Ashburnham Road on the speed sensors. On the trains, London Overground has no service between Watford Junction and Willesden Junction, and there's no service on the Bakerley line between Harrow and Willesden and Stonebridge Park. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes have been quadrupled. The changes will be brought in next month in the run-up to Christmas. Doctors are warning that a Luton woman badly injured in a nightclub fire in Romania may not be well enough to be moved back to the UK, despite her fiancé's wishes. And an 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury Town Centre in the early hours of Saturday morning.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The search is on for a New England rugby coach after Stuart Lancaster's resignation, and money is no object, according to the RFU. RFU Chief Executive Iain Ritchie says money doesn't matter, but the right person does.
I think we'd be looking for a coach without inhibition. The most important thing is to get the right head coach. It doesn't rule out a foreign coach, doesn't rule out an English coach. The nationality is not important. Getting the right coach, if I may, is important.
World champion Lewis Hamilton has revealed he was involved in a minor road accident in Monaco on Monday. The Stevenage driver said he made very light contact with a stationary vehicle, but no one was hurt. Hamilton delayed his flight to this weekend's Brazilian Grand Prix until yesterday on medical advice, as he's been suffering with a fever. Russian President Vladimir Putin has pledged his country's full cooperation with international anti-doping bodies following allegations of widespread doping in Russian athletics. Mr. Putin has promised a thorough investigation of the claims, but insisted that the problem was not confined to Russia. England's cricketers lost the first one-day international by 6 wickets to Pakistan in Abu Dhabi. England were all out for 216, with Pakistan reaching their target with over 6 overs to spare. Here's England captain Owen Morgan.
To be honest, I don't like making excuses. In the last 2 series that we've played, we have been slow starters. We were slow out of traps again today, losing 3 early wickets. I don't think we can dwell on things like that too much. It's a matter of learning from what we can from today and moving on to the game in 2 days' time and putting things right.
And in football, Milton Keynes Dons lone striker Sam Gallagher played for England under-20s in their 4-3 defeat by France yesterday. And Luton will have nearly 2,000 fans at next weekend's match at Stevenage after selling out their allocation. 1,891 tickets have been sold for the game at the Lamech Stadium on November the 21st. BBC Three Counties News and Sports. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Hang on. My mind's just. Oh, hang on. I press this.
The only place that goes from that to this.
I love the fact that you sit when I'm messing up, Simon.
I just sit quietly.
Just sit very, very quietly, and you.
Just in case I need to jump in with an extra story or something.
Have you got an extra story?
No.
Oh, blimey. Thank you, Simon.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Do you remember we used to have a rummage around your news bin? When Kath used to do news.
Yeah.
Many, many years ago. We would have a rummage around your bin.
Yeah.
And we'd come up with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was days old, but that's no less newsworthy. Well, a bit.
We've been talking about my hole in my back garden.
I've had a thought.
Well, no, as long as it's not Danny. Danny said, is it a body?
Mate, I just want to cover all bases.
Unless it's...
Don't cover a body base.
No.
It's not body.
Could it be a spy?
You had a rabbit, didn't you?
Yeah.
I wonder whether the rabbit was trying to
Do
get
you know,
out.
my first thought was, I wonder if it's the rabbit down there. Oh, no, he died.
But he might have been trying to get an escape tunnel going.
Then you said it could be rats. Oh, I don't think it's a fox, because I've not seen any foxes in the garden, and you can smell a fox.
You can. And your dog would know.
Well, and the thing is, I wish I'd gone for the more expensive bum camera, because I would have got that today. This one I won't get for a couple of weeks.
Oh, no.
I just don't want the dog getting stuck down there, because that would be awful.
Could the dog have done it? Could he be burying something?
Well, it's a girl. She could have done it. She could have done it, but it's really deep. I mean, she could have done it, but I've not seen her.
Tiny...
I've not seen her. I mean, it's deep though, and it went on and on.
Badger.
But
they smell again, don't they? They smell.
If it's a badger, I'll cull it.
No, they're massive.
Oh, they're massive. I can kill massive things.
You're not allowed to cull the badgers anyway. You have to get the professional in.
Oh, okay. I won't cull the badger.
It'll rip your head off.
Badger won't rip my head. It'll give me TB.
And then rip your head off.
Yeah, flippin' heck.
They're angry badgers.
What do you reckon's down my hole, Just?
I don't know, but badgers, seriously, they have got an arrogance problem.
Yeah,
They've got a couple of stripes, and they think they're it.
They are. I watched. I'm getting more and more into the Wild Kratts, a program that I initially said I hated, and now I like. And it's two fat. I think they're Americans. Two fat old American brothers that wander around different, tundra, and then they turn into cartoons and have special powers.
Yeah.
And they save animals. Really good one. This is where I learned that iguanas stick to slippery things because they have hairy feet and they fire out electric shocks. Electricity.
Wow, that's brilliant.
True.
Whoa. Hairy feet.
I've done this already, mate. We've been there, we've done that, we've established that. Tiny little hairs, minuscule.
I'm still not sure on this.
No.
Google it, mate. You Google it while I ask her this question. Catherine, how many types of skunk are there? And weed doesn't count, Daniel. Gosh. Weed doesn't count, so scrap that one off the list. For goodness sakes. I provoke and indeed promote healthy living and healthy mental attitudes, and that lifestyle I certainly do not condone anymore.
I don't know how many. I would say 3. But anyway, listen to this.
No.
I know how you get rid of a skunk smell.
So do I.
Go on.
You need soap, water, and ammonia.
No,
ammonia.
No.
Go on then.
No, ketchup.
That is a lie.
Yeah, put ketchup on
Dealey,
it.
she's talking nonsense.
I'm not.
Well, it takes me back to a street box about 2 years ago in Luton. Animals you've had a fight with, and somebody said a skunk.
It's always a classic, the animal show. 10 different types of skunk, and they all look. They don't look like Pepe Le Pew.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you
Is
that.
there a brown one?
No, they're all black and white.
I can tell the difference then.
Well, because they've got the different kinds of markings. How the hell, right? Because if every episode of Pepe Le Pew, right, so he's a Frenchman.
Oui.
A male cat will get a strip of white paint down his back, right?
And maybe a bow.
So not only would Pepe Le Pew mistake a different species, that's like if a cow wore a wig and smoked a pipe, I would think, whoa, she's fit. So not only is it a different species, right? It's the wrong sex. It's the wrong sex, wrong gender. Unless Pepe Le Pew is l'homosexuel. It is the wrong gender. How could Pepe Le Pew be so insane and so lust-filled that he would mistake a male cat for a female skunk and then basically, let's be honest, sexually harass it?
He's got a problem, that guy.
Totally got a problem.
He's completely led by his
Stink.
ardour.
His stink.
Yeah.
I don't think
Now,
we can
Adrian's saying tomato juice, not ketchup. What's ketchup got in it, Adrian? That's the point. And it's got vinegar in it.
Geckos, thank you. It's geckos. They've got slightly hairy feet, fire out electricity.
Oh, yeah, that. I
charges.
thought you were saying that the wild crats got hairy feet when they turn into cartoons.
They do, because what they do is if they can touch the animal, they have these discs and it gives them the powers of that animal.
Oh.
So they put the discs in and they go, power of iguana.
That could be very handy.
Could be very handy. It's a shame it's a rubbish cartoon. Anyway, Dealey, we're getting off the track a little bit. 2 minute silence. I observed it and I felt I'll be honest, I felt smug about observing it. And there's no shame in this. These kind of thoughts that we have during that 2 minute silence, we are not in control of them. We're in control of a tiny percentage of them, but we're not. And I thought about lots of different things in the 2 minutes. I thought, aren't I looking good? I don't want to be in London. Thought about the fallen soldiers. Thought about my dad, not because he was a fallen soldier. I mean, he was in the army. He didn't, he was horse guards. But thought about my dad a bit just because he was dead. I thought about my mum being ill. I thought about the boys. I thought about the guy. I laughed silently to myself. The guy that was whispering in Costa. He said, "I'll just leave this here. Thanks very much. Thanks, guys." And I thought about all kinds of things. I thought about the work I should do. I thought about the trouble that's going on here. I thought about, what I want to do next year with my life, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in that. This is not in any way a judgment call. This is just, I want to know what you thought about in the 2 minute silence.
Yeah, I've taken this one to the streets. I mean,
you sound concerned.
No, I'm a little bit concerned by what's coming up. I mean,
Okay.
we kind of went off topic a little bit with this one. I simply asked people, what were you thinking about during the 2 minute silence? Most people, to be fair, denied any other thoughts.
They're
about,
lying. They're lying.
Well,
I do not believe that.
The only thing that I thought about yesterday, apart from the thoughts on the soldiers, was I hope my phone doesn't go off. Let me put that onto silent. Now, I did think of that, to be fair. Now I've actually thought about it. So a couple of things there. But yeah, I've been on the streets this morning, and some of this audio coming up here, I mean, it's not very often I'm shocked on the streets. Today, I have been shocked. I might even do round 2 on this later on because I think we need another take at this. But been asking people, what were you thinking of yesterday during the 2 minute silence? Here's what happened. Kieran, you work in a shop, and that shop observed the 2 minute silence, but during those 2 minutes, what were you thinking of?
Well, I was the one to end the 2 minute silence, so I was thinking of the time at all points.
So you were thinking about the time, so your mind wasn't really on what the 2 minute silence was actually about then?
Well, it's in the name, 2 minutes, and I was certainly thinking of those 2 minutes.
What I'm saying is what the 2 minutes was actually about. If you're thinking about the time, you weren't thinking about what the actual event was about, really, were you?
No, I guess not.
In the shop, did most people keep quiet?
There was a table of old people that didn't. Raucous old people.
So even though you'd stood up and said, right, it's now time for the 2 minute silence, there was a group of people who just ignored you, that they would have heard you, but they chose to ignore you.
Yes.
Come on, seriously, how loud were they?
Well, you're in a shop, you're with friends, you're going to be excited, you're going to be loud anyway, and I think they were just continuing that.
Sir, did you observe the 2 minute silence yesterday?
Was it in the morning or the evening?
It was at 11 o'clock yesterday morning.
No, I was working. I was in a warehouse working.
The fact you had to ask, though, what time, not great, is it?
Yeah, well, I was working in a warehouse and you don't watch TV while you were working.
No, I'm just saying, you said, well, when was it, in the morning or the evening?
Yeah, well, in the evening I was asleep at around 10:30.
It's always 11 o'clock on the 11th day of the 11th month.
Didn't know that.
Thanks for your time, sir. It's not a trick question.
No, it's my granddad's, because they both served in World War II, so I was thinking about them, plus they've both passed. So it was nice to actually have 2 minutes just to think about those two.
I was thinking of my aunt, my great aunt, I used to call her Auntie Grace, and she actually drove ambulances during World War II. She did, and we found out, I mean, she's obviously passed now, but during her eulogy we found out she refused the OBE. Yeah, she refused it because she was doing what was needed to be done. She didn't want any special recognition for it. Yeah.
She deserves those 2 minutes, doesn't she?
Definitely deserved them.
This is why I love going out on the streets for stories like this, because you never quite know what you're going to get. You know, somebody in your family doing a fantastic job and feeling like, do you know what, it was my duty. I don't deserve any recognition for that. Incredible.
Yeah, that's exactly how she felt. Yeah, she said, no, I don't want it. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you.
I enjoyed that. Yeah, go out for a round too. I'm not. There were people walking around when I was during. I don't have a problem with people not observing the 2 minute silence.
No, but I think if you're in a coffee shop and somebody stands up and says, right, okay, for the next 2 minutes we're going to have a 2 minute silence, you know what it's about. And I'm shocked there that the older generation, as he says, older and raucous in the corner, that they wouldn't keep quiet, they just carried on regardless. And that second guy, when was it, yesterday morning or yesterday evening? I mean, come on. That is shocking.
I did like the first guy. Well, I was in charge of stopping the 2 minute silence, so I was thinking about the time the whole time. I bet he was really nervous and practising in his head what he was going to say to bring it to... and then, let's get a round two on that, Justin. It's unprecedented.
I think so.
But and all of those people... Some great stories. All of those people, though... that say they thought about the war dead and the fallen for the full 2 minutes, I do not believe them. Honestly, you try and think about one thing for 2 minutes. You can't do it. And it's because you're out of control. You know, you sit there and try and think about an elephant for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking of an elephant, and there's its tail. Oh, its tail looks like a brush. I'm thinking about brushes. The elephant. So there's Nelly the elephant. Nelly, that kids album I had, All Aboard. I'm thinking about records. Yeah. You can't do it. You can't do it.
And funny enough, a guy during that piece came up to me on the street there and said, I've just seen your video of us two in Luton from, a year ago.
Oh, yeah,
I said, okay, fair enough. I said, but yesterday, the 2 minute silence, and he said, I thought about the soldiers. I said, come on, you must have thought of something else. He went, no, I'd never be so disrespectful not to think of anything else. But I think a lot of people, though,
they're mind fascists now.
But a lot of people, I don't think, will admit to actually thinking about something else. But I don't know. We can try in round two.
Justin, thank you very much indeed. I appreciate that, and you'll get a cracking round two. I've just seen that. We'll read that in a second. And a lot of people won't admit to it because of mind fascism, and this is why. This is perhaps, aside from celebrity handkerchiefs, this is the best question we have ever come up with on this show. What else did you think about during the 2 minute silence? Go on, read that out.
Kevin, during the 2 minute silence, I tried not to watch an old gentleman in my shop finish an entire bacon cob.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25, they're accused anti-clockwise approaching junction 21 for the M1 from junction 22 for St Albans because of an accident that happened earlier. It's been moved to the hard shoulder now, but it's causing some delays. And also on the M1 into London, it's very slow between junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead and 6A for the M25 because of an accident earlier on near junction 5. That's also causing delays on the North Orbital Road southbound at Frogmore between the Park Street roundabout and the M1 junction 6 for North Watford. And on the A1M, it's looking very busy southbound in Gravely between junction 8 for Hitchin and 7 for Stevenage. In Dunstable, also the High Street North looking slow southbound from the A505 towards Church Street. And on the trains, the London Overground has no service from Watford Junction to Wilston Junction, and the Bakerley line has no service between Harrow and Wilston and Stonebridge Park. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Right, we've asked if you're interested in the Milton Keynes parking charge story. One person's texted in 3 times saying, yay, well done for doing this story. I'm glad someone's covering it. No, that counts as 0 votes. That's 0. Kyle says, it's now going to cost me a fortune to park in Milton Keynes. However, that does include petrol from Rochdale, so... And then someone else just said, well, why don't you go after 6 o'clock where it's free and they're open late? Is that true?
I don't know whether it's still true, but it used to be.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. I just think, other people would do this story much more justice, and I'm not I'm not buying it. 7:46, these are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Parking charges in some parts of Milton Keynes are being quadrupled. The changes will be brought in next month in the run-up to Christmas. Doctors are warning that a Luton woman badly injured in a nightclub fire in Romania may not be well enough to be moved back to the UK despite her fiancé's wishes. And an 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury Town Centre in the early hours of Saturday morning. Let's get the weather.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's a slightly chillier start to the day today than we've been seeing so far this week, sort of 8 and 9 degrees Celsius in some spots across the three counties. Lots of sunshine around through this morning, actually. A pretty nice day. It will stay dry, but the cloud will gradually increase as we head through the afternoon, and we'll start to see the southwesterly breeze pick up as well. So turning cloudy and breezy as per normal, as it has been so far this week. And we're still mild as well, staying mild. Top temperatures up to 14 or 15 Celsius, 59 in Fahrenheit. Overnight tonight, then we'll get this narrow band of rain coming in from the northwest, so it will turn wet for a while with some squally gusts of wind as well, and that's a cold front. So behind it, then it's going to feel an awful lot cooler. We're looking at temperatures down to around 7 or 8 degrees Celsius to start the day tomorrow, and then tomorrow a much cooler, chillier feel to things. It'll feel an awful lot more like November. There will be some rather sharp showers around at times, blustery showers too, and some sunny spells. So not bad all in all, but just an awful lot chillier. Top temperatures up to around 11 or 12 degrees Celsius. Over the weekend, the air's going to turn milder again gradually. There will be some wet weather around at times, particularly so on Saturday. The grey skies will be back and that strong southwesterly wind. That's the forecast.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Every weekday morning.
Isn't it nice to have a good discussion about things in a polite way?
My opinion is, you make a very valid point. As long as the person can do the job, I don't care. Hence, I'm saying she's completely out of touch.
It doesn't always happen like that, though, does it?
Well, if you let me speak, I'll let you know what they are then.
Well, that don't prove that an accident's been caused, does it?
The JVS Show.
My big phone in every morning from 9 gets everybody talking.
First of all, I congratulate you. Got a very good topic on this morning. I'd like to share some experiences.
I'm not going to respond to that statement because I find that quite inflammatory.
The JVS Show. Weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
A gentleman from Luton is calling for his fiancée, who was injured in a fire at a Romanian nightclub, to be brought back to the UK. Dwayne Mensah is fearful Elsa Albu may die after suffering severe burns in the fire at a heavy metal concert on October the 30th. The Romanian authorities had agreed to meet the cost of repatriating her to the UK, but Dwayne understands they may be reconsidering. Well, Dwayne joins me on the line now from Romania. Morning, Dwayne.
Good morning.
How's things going? How's Elsa?
Elsa's still in critical condition, but she's stable for the moment. Her vitals are all okay. She's still intubated and ventilated, but she is still stable as it stands. She is slowly recovering day by day, but she remains in an induced coma.
Oh man, I'm really sorry. We've got young ears.
Yeah.
Go. Sorry. We've got young ears listening, so just bear that in mind. But can you tell us what happened?
The club was set ablaze by some illegal fireworks. There was an initial stampede, which knocked Elsa and her brother to the floor. The secondary part of the ceiling collapsed on fire as well, which landed on the stampeded crowd that were on the floor. They then got up and ran for the door as well. It's a club that only holds 200 people, but there were 500 admitted on the night.
Blimey.
It's a terrible situation, and there's a lot to say on things across here, but these are for other people to say and other people to change in this country.
How's her treatment going? I've got no idea what Romanian hospitals' medical treatment is like. Is she getting good care, do you think?
I mean, I understand that you had Dr. Sarah Papp from the Newcastle Clinic on one of the radio shows on the BBC yesterday. I pretty much concur with what she said. The Romanian doctors are doing as much as they can. They are working as hard as they can. They are tired. They are stressed. They want the best for all of the patients involved. There's a lot of people dying on a daily basis here who are more injured, more severe than Elsa is. But they are conscious, they're breathing, and they're dying. Elsa is still completely regulated by various machines. But they are trying. I mean, they stay fully committed. The Romanian authorities are fully committed. The UK authorities, which are obviously the most important thing in this situation, are fully committed. I mean, I have Dr. Sarah Papp, who you're probably aware of, Dr. Bruce Philps down in Chelmsford, the clinic that we have agreed to go to once we do arrive in the UK. They've all been very helpful, and they still remain helpful and committed to it.
And is the medical advice that she should stay where she is? Or that they should get her... They're saying that she should stay in the Romanian hospital for the moment?
Yes, because they can't move her from one room to another at the moment without there being complications with her breathing, with her oxygenation levels. So they can't move her across the city to the airport, and they definitely can't move her 1,600 miles, as it stands.
What are they saying? How long do you think that she will be in this medically induced coma? What are they kind of saying for the long term?
There are no long-term plans. It is a day-by-day process. It is coming in the morning. I mean, I'm here at the hospital just now in Bucharest. I'm waiting to find out her condition overnight, where she's been struggling during the night for the last 2 weeks. And then we come in the evening at about 5 o'clock to hear an update through the day. And we get to see her once, sometimes twice a day, just to, just to say what we have to say to her to try and keep her going.
How are you doing, Dwayne?
It's difficult. Obviously, this is one of the first holidays that I've ever been not with her in 12 years. And then this happens. It happened on her birthday. It happened on the night before she was meant to fly home. She was only going to the club with a friend who actually died in that fire as well, just for a couple of hours to say goodbye to everybody. So it's hard for me to take because she was so close to being home and safe again. But I mean, I'm strong. I'm fully focused. I believe she's going to pull through it. I know that she's strong enough. I have massive support back home. My sister has been doing some amazing things with regards to fundraising. There's a page set up for Elsa. I know it's kind of advertising.
No, you plug it away, fella. Go on. Where is this page?
It's GoFundMe.com. They are really helpful as well.
What do you have to type in to find Elsa's page?
It would be Support Elsa's Recovery by Claire Harrison. Okay. It's a donation page. I mean, it's been mostly friends, work colleagues. Her boss is from Australia. They've agreed to double whatever their company raises for her. She's going to need some massive reconstructions to certain areas of the body. I won't go into too much detail because, as obviously you've said, it's quite an early morning show and I wouldn't want to upset anybody for the day. But there are things that will require massive care. And this is a long run. We're in it for the long run, and hopefully she gets back to the UK to have all of this.
Dwayne, I don't know if you coming on and talking to me is helpful to you in any way. I really appreciate you coming on. Anytime you want to come on, and give us an update, you're more than welcome. It's an open invitation.
Okay.
And I don't mean that in a kind of. I don't mean that in in an exploitative. We want. I genuinely wish you and Elsa the best of luck. It's a really sad story, so we've got our fingers crossed.
Yeah, thank you very much. And it's not just Elsa and Addy who are really badly injured. I mean, there's much more critical patients out here. I mean, working with the doctors in the UK, we're trying to raise awareness because it seems to be it was in the media for a day.
Yeah.
The Russian aeroplane disaster took over.
Yeah.
And other things back in the UK took over. So any help, any awareness that can be raised.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's a footnote in the the horrible business of news. The story is now a footnote in the news, where obviously it's an ongoing daily occurrence for you and everybody that's there.
There are people dying on a daily basis, both here and internationally. This is not just separate to Romania. We have 9 patients across in the UK just now at various hospitals. They're in France, they're in Belgium, they're in Norway, they're in many different countries who are aiding. And it's main news in these countries. We've got a petition going at the moment. Although it's to get Elsa home as soon as possible, the UK government has been, they've been really good. But they could do much more. We give a lot of foreign aid to countries that have been going through those problems for hundreds and hundreds of years. This country needs help now. It needs help, for all of the people that are going through, not just the people who are in the beds. They're going through the real struggle, but the families mentally as well. We're doing as much as we can, but, Sarah Papp has been really good. We're trying to raise awareness, both through media and politically as well. So, we continue the fight, and I'm sure Elsa will continue her fight.
I'm sure she will. Dwayne, thanks a lot. Best of luck.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Well, isn't that one of the saddest things, isn't it? Anybody else welling up a little bit at the thought of that? Deary me, well, there we go. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. 81333. Start your text 3CR. You can send us an email as well. Iain.lee@bbc.co.uk. I don't really want to do anything now until after the news because it feels a little bit, I know we're famous for clunky gear changes, but it feels a little bit flippant after that. Doesn't it? Well, right. We'll just wait for travel. Do you know what? We'll just wait for travel. Travel's there. Brilliant. All right, then we'll have some of this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M40, there's been a car fire between Junction 4 for the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout into London to Junction 3 for Loudwater. That's partially blocked in that stretch. And also in Marlow, it's very slow just before the M40, Junction 4 for the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout because of that car fire on the M40. On the M1, it's slow into London between Junction 10 for Luton Airport to 7 for Hemel Hempstead. And on the North Orbital Road in Frogmore, there are queues southbound between the Park Street roundabout and Bricket Wood because of an accident that happened nearby on the M1 earlier on. On the trains, there's no major problems on the departure boards, but the London Overground still has no service between Watford Junction and Willesden Junction because of emergency engineering works at South Kenton. And it also means there's no service on the Bakerloo line between Harrow and Willesden and Stonebridge Park. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: parking charges quadrupled in Milton Keynes. Man charged with rape in Aylesbury Town Centre, and warning over plans to bring injured Luton woman home.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes are being quadrupled. The changes will be brought in next month in the run-up to Christmas. Milton Keynes Council says there will be more spaces for business employees, but there are claims that existing bays are being narrowed to create the new ones. The price of over 300 standard bays will rise from 50 pence to £2 an hour. Campaigner Linda Inoki says traders will suffer as the council tries to keep workers happy.
They made a rash promise earlier this year to find another 2,000 temporary parking spaces for employees around the business district. But whacking up parking charges for shoppers in central Milton Keynes near the shopping centre is not going to help.
An 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury Town Centre in the early hours of Saturday morning. Florin Christian Stajaru of Hilton Avenue in the town was arrested on Tuesday. He will appear at Wycombe Magistrates Court. The alleged rape occurred at around 3 a.m. on Saturday in Buckingham Street. There's a warning that mental health patients could be put at risk because NHS trusts are cutting costs and focusing on emergency medical care. The think tank The King's Fund says it's worried that untested forms of care in the community are being used. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is beginning a 3-day visit to the UK, saying that he hopes it will strengthen economic ties. David Cameron has left an EU summit on migration and flown home to meet him. Doctors are warning that a Luton woman badly injured in a nightclub fire in Romania may not be well enough to be moved back to the UK despite her fiancé's wishes. Elsa Albu has been in an induced coma since the blaze. Burns expert Dr Sarah Pape, who's flown out to Romania to help, says she can understand why fiancé Dwayne Mensah is so worried.
Well, of course, it's natural that he would want to have her back home, wouldn't we all, in that situation? He finds himself in a foreign country, his fiancée seriously ill, and not fluent in the language. He has lots of support, but it's still not the same as being at home and being able to visit your local hospital.
3 people were taken to hospital, one woman with serious multiple injuries following a crash on the M40 in Buckinghamshire yesterday afternoon. It happened on the southbound carriageway between Handy Cross and Loudwater at around 4 p.m. A minibus and a camper van both left the carriageway and went down an embankment. In sport, the search is on for a New England rugby coach after Stuart Lancaster's resignation. Money is no object, according to the RFU. And world champion Lewis Hamilton has revealed he was involved in a minor road accident in Monaco on Monday. The Stevenage driver is now in Brazil for this weekend's Grand Prix. The weather dry and bright this morning, cloudier this afternoon, a maximum temperature 15 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
So go on then. What exactly did you think about during the 2-minute silence? And if you say the dead soldiers, I do not believe you. And I'm not having a pop. It's impossible for the human mind to focus on one thing for 2 minutes. It's impossible. So you may have started on that. You may have finished on that. What was going on in between? Was it your kids? Was it you worked on your shopping list? You've run out of cat food? I've got to change the sheets. Was it that kind of stuff? Where's that package from Amazon? What else popped into your head during the 2-minute silence?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Right, for the last time ever, parking charges in some parts of Milton Keynes are being quadrupled just in time for Christmas. The price of over 300 standard bays near the into and around Silbury Boulevard will rise from 50p to £2 an hour. This comes at a time when some councils, like Bedford Borough, are dropping charges altogether in a bid to boost trade. Well, Alex Walker is the Conservative spokesperson for Transport and Highways. Morning, Alex.
Morning.
So these charges, what's it all about?
That's right, yeah. Well, what the council have done were, back in May, they did a consultation with businesses, listened to employees, and actually what they've done is put what they said in a blender and make a decision with what came out the other side. I think we all know we need more employee bays in Milton Keynes, in the central Milton Keynes area, but not at the price of shoppers. And what they've done here is to pay for those 560 spaces that employees will be able to get into, is to punish shoppers by making 300 spaces from going up from 50p an hour to £2 an hour.
How many other spaces are remaining unchanged?
Remaining unchanged? I think, well, the rest of them. So it's only 888 spaces that are actually changing. 560 are going to be red spaces, so the most expensive spaces. They're going to become available for employees, which absolutely makes sense, not fighting that at all.
Yeah.
But it's the 800 standard spaces that were previously 50p and now going up to £2.
So it's not 300 bays that are going from 50p to £2, it's 800?
No, it's 888 spaces altogether.
Oh, OK.
560 are the most expensive already. They're staying as they
50 pence an hour is too cheap.
Too cheap? I disagree. I think Milton Keynes was built as a city for free parking, I think, back in the 60s.
Well, back in the 60s. It's 2015 now.
Absolutely, it's 50p now. I think Milton Keynes has to stay competitive.
Have you been to any other towns? Because
sure, yes,
to find 50 pence an hour is unheard of in big towns.
But that's why Milton Keynes remains attractive, in my opinion. If you go to Northampton on a Saturday morning now, it's free. If you go to other places in Milton Keynes, I don't know if you've been to the MK1 hub, that's free as well. So
but those places are desperately failing. That's why they're trying to get as many people as they can in.
But if you go to Milton Keynes, there's so many empty shops now in the central Milton Keynes.
Well, the high street is a dead thing. When people realise that, then I think we can move on. Sure. The thing is, there are still places you can park for free, aren't there, in Milton Keynes?
There are not in the central Milton Keynes area now.
Hang on one second, Catherine. You know better than me. Where was that place we parked for free?
Do we want to tell everyone?
Yeah.
You know where Waitrose used to be? You can park there for free for 2 hours.
Really? I don't think that's the case. I think that certainly used to be the case. There certainly used to be green spaces that you could park for free. Those spaces, to my knowledge, are certainly...
I've been in a car park with Kath. I don't know Milton Keynes that well. I've been in a car park with Kath 6 months ago, and we parked for free for 2 hours.
Well, you need to let me know where that is, because I'm going to...
I'm not telling you my little secret. Not letting you know. So what is your concern about this going up?
Sure. Well, I think, first of all, we have to question the council as to why they've decided to do it now. 2 weeks, this decision will come into effect 2 weeks into December, when employees will start taking their holidays and everything. And actually, the only people it's going to affect is shoppers. So it looks to me that the council are trying to make a quick buck just before the Christmas period, shopping period, so families will have to pay a bit more and the council's coffers will increase.
Well, let's ask that very question. Matt Clifton is the Cabinet Member for Economic Growth and Inward Investment at Milton Keynes Council. Why are you doing it now, Matt?
OK, well, thanks very much, Ian. Clearly, Alex is getting his numbers a bit muddled up.
Let's just answer that question first, and then we can get to the press release. Why are you doing it now?
Because we're meeting the demand from employees. Alex is talking about 320 spaces on the western side of the council offices. He's not talking about parking in central Milton Keynes. He didn't answer your question. How many parking spaces are there in central Milton Keynes? 21,168. And he's misrepresenting the whole of Milton Keynes based on this one.
But why are you putting up some parking charges from 50 pence an hour to £2 an hour? Let me just finish the question. Why are you putting... I'll finish the question. Why are you putting up some parking charges from 50 pence an hour to £2 an hour weeks before Christmas when you know it'll be at its busiest?
No, because we're making it cheaper in other places. And it's a ring-fence budget, and therefore we have to approach that in a very kind of prudent and balanced way.
They're making it cheaper in other places, Alex.
I believe that was the 235 from May when they moved them down from premium to standard. But those, they're kind of giving and taking.
Well, yeah, exactly. He says that the number is ring-fence. You didn't mention that some places are being made cheaper, Alex.
No. Yes, they made them cheaper back in May.
Right. Now they're putting the prices of some others up. So it's kind of, it's evening the scales a bit.
No, absolutely not. If they made 235 cheaper, now 328 are going more.
Oh, it's like 80. It's 95. It's a difference of 95.
That's so they've given us cheaper parking for about 5 months and then decided to put it back up.
Matt?
No, that's completely untrue. He's quite right to say we made 324 places cheaper back in May, but he's not mentioning the 560 places that we're making cheaper now through this measure. But you're quite right, Ian. There are 1,157 free spaces in central Milton Keynes based around the retail areas that you can use for free for up to 3 hours. And there are 10,375 spaces that are standard rate bays at 50 pence an hour. We are not increasing the car parking charges. We're not changing the regime. What we've done is made an adjustment to benefit employees in this one particular car park, which Alex is talking about.
But you are increasing the price to shoppers if they use the 328 bays. That will increase. But Alex, there are loads of parking spaces that are staying the same. Come on, this is just trying to score points, isn't it?
Absolutely not. No. I am absolutely principled in the fact that we need to keep Milton Keynes competitive, and messing around with, even if it's 328 spaces, that's 328 families every day.
How many, Matt, how many parking spaces did you say there were in central Milton Keynes?
21,168.
There's 21,000, Alex.
Absolutely. And I say that...
And you didn't answer that question when I asked you. There's 21,000 and 328 are going up. Big deal.
I think it's a big deal for those 328 families who are parking in those spaces every day.
Why don't they go and park in one of the other 21,000?
Well, this is the problem. We need more parking spaces, and we need...
How often is it full up? How often are all of those 21,000 parking spaces full up?
During the Christmas period, they will be full up every day for the whole day.
For the whole day, every day, the 21,000 parking spaces in Milton Keynes will be full up. That's what I'm asking.
These 328 will certainly be filled up every day. The 21,000, we remain across the city, but these spaces are just across the road from the main shopping area.
Well, if you want to save a few quid, you've got to walk a bit.
Yeah,
or park in the multi-storey next to Waitrose, which is definitely free. I've just given that out now.
Absolutely. But people want ease of access. As I say, we need to remain competitive. And if we're pushing these people down, a mile down the road, we're not being competitive because they can go to other areas where it's more easy access, so like in the MK1 area down in Bletchley.
Right, we're not pushing people a mile down the road. Occupancy rates are 73%, and there's plenty of space at weekends and evenings for shoppers. So there's no negative impact from this at all. The fact of the matter is there are over 1,000 free spaces, and there are 10,374 standard rate bays as well as part of that 21,000. But I do agree with Alex on one thing. We need to have more parking bays, which is why this year we've increased the number of parking bays at standard rate by 1,029. Now, in the 3 years that the Conservatives were in control, they didn't create a single extra parking bay, but this is what we're doing.
OK, gentlemen, listen, I appreciate that last voice you heard there was Matt Clifton, Cabinet Member for Economic Growth and Inward Investment at Milton Keynes Council. The other voice was Alex Walker, Conservative spokesperson for Transport and Highways, and they both bear the honour of being the last officials ever to come on my show on BBC Three Counties Radio and to talk about parking charges in Milton Keynes. That's it. It's done. It's dusted. It's unless it goes up by unless they kind of sneak in a 20 quid hike, never happening on my show ever again. I mean, really. Any texters?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Well, Stuart in Bedford says, am I allowed to mention parking in Milton Keynes now?
I mean, yeah, you can mention it. Okay. Oh, by the way, that I'll do that GoFundMe. Lots of people are tweeting the actual link for the GoFundMe for Elsa, who's in Romania. I'll do that before we go to the travel.
Okay. So Stuart in Bedford says that multi-story is free for definite next to Waitrose.
Yep.
And apparently, I've just looked it up. Apparently, you can stay for up to 3 hours.
Beautiful. And that's near the centre, isn't it? It's like a 2-minute walk. You just cross over the road.
Yeah, exactly. It's really close. But then once that's full, it's full. It's always worth a crack, I think.
It's not a story, guys.
Leighton Buzzard says it's 50p for 2 hours in Leighton Buzzard.
Yeah, it's Leighton Buzzard.
Oh, also, some questions about your hole in your garden.
Oh, yeah. Letting in water.
Mary in Hemel, is it a baby sinkhole?
I don't think there are any babies or sinks.
Cover the hole with wire netting so your dog won't get stuck down it.
Put the dog in there.
Oh. Stephen in Milton Keynes. So more and more town centres are losing their businesses to the internet. How do Milton Keynes tackle this? By constantly increasing parking charges.
Guys.
And don't get me on the narrower spaces.
Guys, the high street is dead. I mean, when you accept that and acknowledge that, if I want something, sometimes I pop into town. If but otherwise I get it online. The bum camera I ordered, online. The Trip to Italy DVD I
don't know
ordered,
where you'd get a bum camera in town.
Online, exactly. The remote control for my computer for when we go to the Slovak states, online. My gentleman's stash, online these days. It's all online. Danny, you ever been to a shop?
A couple.
See?
But I tried to
I'd finished that talking to you.
Okay.
And it has to be said, I applaud, not literally, that'd be ridiculous, but, some councils who are trying to regenerate
Imagine standing outside the council and, yeah.
Well done. Guys. Some councils are trying to breathe new life into, or at least encourage people to go shopping on the high street by dropping the charges. That's up to them.
If you want to do it, you drop the business rates for the shops that are there to a ridiculously low level, and that will encourage people to go in. Then they won't be spending a lot of money on business rates. That's how you do it. I mean, what do I know?
Apparently that.
Okay. Things that went through people's minds during the 2-minute silence. I saw one about.
Yeah, we had here. This is from Jem in St Albans. She feels guilty. She forgot the silence. I'm assuming Jem's a woman. It might be a man.
Truly outrageous.
Truly. I feel guilty. I forgot the silence. I'd come off a night shift and was watching cute animal videos on YouTube with my toddler. We don't have a TV, so no reminders. I did think about it later when I realised, and we went to a procession in our village on Sunday. Those 2 minutes were spent following my toddler backwards and forwards and hoping she would make a noise.
Oh, if kids were talking during the 2-minute silence, I'll take that as well. 03459 455 555. Maff, I don't believe you. The things that went through my mind: 1, the dead. 2, my grandparents who went through World War II. 3, my parents who grew up as post-war babies. 4, selfish me, I never had to do national service. 5, my kids, what they have now and what they'd have to fight for their country and their doorstep. The lack of respect by others is their choice. My 2 minutes were full. I do not believe that... This has popped up on the screen. I do not believe that for a second, Math. I do not believe that. And now I've lost the... I tell you what, we'll do the travel, we'll do the news. When we come back, we'll have the GoFundMe link for Elsa, because it's just disappeared on my screen. Let's have a bit of this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The N40 into London's been partially blocked by a car fire between Junction 4 for the High Wycombe Handy Cross roundabout and 3 for Loudwater, and that's causing a delay from Junction 5 for Stokenchurch. It's also very foggy in the area. On the A404 northbound in Marlow, it's very busy just before the M40, Junction 4 High Wycombe Handy Cross roundabout because of those problems. In Frogmore on the North Orbital Road, there are queues southbound between the Park Street roundabout and the M1 Junction 6 for North Watford. That's because of the accident earlier on the M1. On the M1, it's slow southbound between Junction 10 for Luton Airport and 7 for Hemel Hempstead, and also nearby it's busy in Markyate on the A5 southbound between Lynch Hill and the M1. On the trains, Virgin Trains West Coast and Southern services have 20-minute delays between Milton Keynes Central and London Euston because of a signalling problem, and on the London Overground there's no service between Watford Junction and London Euston. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Enjoyed that as always. 8:17, these are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A Luton man says he accepts that his fiancée, who was badly injured in the Romanian nightclub fire, will have to remain there for treatment for the time being, despite his desire to bring her home. An 18-year-old man will appear in court today, charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury Town Centre in the early hours of Saturday morning. And parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes, tiny, really tiny part, I mean, it's almost insignificant, irrelevant really, are being quadrupled.
Tomorrow, everything is going to get a little bit sparkly. I'll be live from Elstree Studios as the cast of Strictly Come Dancing get ready for Children in Need.
You embraced the character, you became somebody else.
We'll bring you exclusives from behind the scenes and find out everything that happens on one of the nation's favourite shows.
I was totally transported into your romantic love story. You took me straight there.
So join me, Roberta Peroni, live from Elstree Studios for Strictly and Children in Need tomorrow from 3 here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Get up, your bum. That's just what we sing at home when we're watching Strictly. I wasn't suggesting Roberta do that, although. Yes. So we spoke to Elsa's boyfriend earlier on. It was Dwayne, wasn't it? Was the gentleman's name. Elsa is in critical condition in hospital in Romania, and they're trying to raise a few quid because she's going to, when she gets well and gets back home, she's going to need a lot of work. And you go to gofundme.com/Elsa Albu, and it's ELSAALBU if you want to contribute to that. 03459 455 555. Now, a wreath of white poppies with the message "Syria, not our war" has been laid at Luton Cenotaph. Let's see how much information is included in this. Is it all there, Kath?
I don't know now.
Have I got to fill in the blanks?
No, I put it in.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I like to go into battle fully.
You don't appreciate it enough for my liking.
The wreath has been a part. I tell you what, I'll buy you breakfast at Kazimix, yes?
Well, that's a good start.
A wreath of white poppies with the message "Syria, not our war" has been laid at Luton Cenotaph. The wreath has been a part of the town's remembrance service for around 25 years, and each year includes a different message at its centre. Mark Shyman laid the wreath and says it's not a political message, it's a peace message. Well, Oliver Cam is a columnist for The Times and a critic of the white poppy. Joins me now. Morning, Oliver.
Good morning.
Let's start with the white poppy first. What's your problem with that?
It's clearly untrue to say that it's not a political message. Its roots are in the pacifist movements of the 1930s, which made the disastrous mistake of not understanding that Nazi Germany was an expansionist bellicose power that we would need to fight sooner or later. And a number of those pacifist movements were themselves tainted with admiration for Nazi Germany. I could go through the history of that, but it was noted by George Orwell at the time that there was an overlap of membership between the British peace movement and the British fascist movement. So it has very dubious antecedents. And secondly, the political message written within the wreath is quite obviously a policy recommendation. It's quite inappropriate and different from the normal service of commemoration, where we express not only remembrance but gratitude for those who took up arms.
The white poppy, and I do want to talk more about the message in a second, but the white poppy, its origins may be, slightly more dubious than we'd like them to be, but now it means I interpret it as meaning it's respect for those that have fallen, but actually we don't want any more wars. And no, I mean, you're not suggesting that anyone that wears the white poppy now is a fascist, are you?
Yes, I am actually. The Stop the War Coalition, which was formed at the beginning of this century in protest initially against US intervention in Afghanistan, has some really unpleasant characters behind it. Its moving force was the Socialist Workers' Party, a depraved Leninist sect that is not so much anti-war as anti-American, anti-British, and ferociously anti-Semitic. So I do think there are some.
I don't think the Socialist Workers' Party is anti-British and anti-Semitic, is it?
Yes, it is. It certainly is. It called during the Iraq War for military defeat for American and British forces. I'd count that anti-British. And it had on its platform for several years a jazz musician called Gilad Atzmon, who believes that the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, the notorious Jewish conspiracy theory, is an accurate depiction of the state of modern America. Of course, it's a racist party.
The message within the wreath is the thing that caught my attention. Syria, not our war. And listen, I'm kind of... Oliver, I'm sure if we had an evening out, we would find each other fascinating, but would agree on absolutely nothing whatsoever, which would be a fun evening. But I'm kind of, people should speak their mind and say what they want. But even I think that having a message like that within the wreath on a memorial on Armistice Day is perhaps going a little bit too far.
You're absolutely right. The freedom of speech and assembly is absolutely integral to a democratic society, but there is a time and a place. I happen to be an atheist. If I go to a memorial service, as I did recently for a friend and colleague of mine who's recently died, then I don't, in the middle of prayers, shout out, "You're wasting your time. There's no one around to listen to these." It's a matter of time and place and how you behave. There is a way to behave, and this isn't it.
Mr. Shyman, we had on the show, I would love to have had you two on together. Mr. Shyman says he's not done anything wrong. He's just saying he doesn't want his kids and other kids to be involved in wars, and he doesn't want us to get involved in things that aren't our business. It's his right to do that. And we often talk about the freedoms that we have because of those brave souls that gave their lives. Is this not just an extension of those freedoms?
Well, of course he's got the freedom to do it. No one is going to lock him up or abridge his freedoms for a tasteless and totally inappropriate demonstration. But I'm going to tell him what I think of it, which I think is it's an egregious waste of his time and of public sympathy, which I trust he doesn't have. He certainly hasn't got mine.
Oliver, really interesting talking to you. I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much.
A pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Oliver Cam, columnist. Why am I struggling to say the word columnist? Because I'm saying the N.
Because you're trying to say the N.
Columnist for the Times. It was interesting, that. I would love to have heard Mr. Shyman and Mr. Cam mano a mano.
Well, maybe next year, because he will do it again, won't he?
We'll do it again. It was interesting, that. We'll keep Oliver's number and we'll speak to him again in another life, maybe. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. If you want to give us... Well, so Dealey's out, right? I've got this theory that that during the 2-minute silence, all of our minds wandered. It's impossible to focus on one thing for 2 minutes.
No, not unless you're the Dalai Lama.
Oh, yeah, if like a meditation master,
Yeah.
like black belt in meditation, then that's fine. I've still got this horrible taste in my mouth, and I've got this like tincture I'm supposed to drop in my mouth, but it's not working.
I wonder if it's your diet.
Well, I'm drinking too much coffee. She thinks it's now. I'm going to say something, and don't go, oh, a thrush of some kind, because I get my chest infections. Yeah. If you get chest infections, it can have a build-up of like horrible stuff in your mouth, and it happened just after my chest went funny. Now, of course, that this tincture isn't curing it. You know what the internet says?
No, stop it.
That's what the internet says.
The internet says that for a lot of things.
And she said, the doctor said, if it works within a week, come back in and we'll have a look at other options. That weekend's tomorrow. Got 24 hours to get rid of that taste in your mouth.
Before the internet, people used to have medical dictionaries. Now, my mum had a friend who had a medical dictionary that she referred to too much.
Yeah.
And at one point, she was convinced that she had prostate cancer.
Wow. My mum was convinced that she had multiple sclerosis. And she did, because of her medical dictionary. And she didn't give it to others. I mean, if it did, we could simply get rid of MS by burning those books. She diagnosed it, self-diagnosed it, went to the doctor, and the doctor said yes.
Oh, yeah, it's not always wrong, but if you're looking every week, you're looking for a disease of the week, you'll find you've got all sorts.
Well, this tincture, and it's a great word.
What is it made of? Is it
It's white,
snake oil?
She's
given you.
I don't know, but I have to go back. And then she said, well, if it's not gone within a week,
I'll sell you a more expensive tincture.
She's a doctor. It's not the Chinese herbalists.
Is she really a doctor?
I've not got a problem with any Chinese herbalist at all. In fact, I'm impartial on it, and I think either they do a great or not a great job. Happy China? She's a proper doctor at the surgery. She's a locum.
But they're often best.
Aren't they?
Because they look properly.
Anyway, I'm running out of this.
Assume.
I'm running out of this tincture, so I've got to. I'll have to go back. So
You're going to get more.
Well, no, because it's not working.
Yeah, but then they might say, "Oh, you've got to have at least 5."
She said a week or 2 weeks. Well, a week is tomorrow.
Okay.
Right, a week is a long day in
2
politics.
weeks. Well, then you've got to wait 2
But
weeks.
I've running out of tincture.
So you're bailing on the tincture.
You have to pipette it into your mouth and let it sing on your tongue. I made a joke. I made so many jokes during this medical treatment. I like to make light of my ills. The doctor said...
Brave people do.
Thank you. The doctor said, this taste, what is it like? Is it bitter? I said, yeah. She says, what does it taste like?
Did you describe it the same way you've described it to me?
Yes. I said, well, I'll be honest, doctor, it tastes like I've been licking a cat's bum. Except I used the A word instead of the bum word.
Wow, to a doctor.
First joke. She didn't laugh. Silence. I mean, cold audience. You thought the last night of my tour was awkward. I mean, that was wow.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because her medical mind's trying to assess what exactly that would taste like.
There was a knock on the door. I opened it. A tumbleweed rolled around the room, then went back out. Oh, flipping out. Anyway, better response with the pharmacist in boots. She said, what you have to do is you have to drop the tincture on your mouth, let it settle on your tongue for a bit, and then with a clean finger, wipe it around your mouth. And I said, blimey, where am I going to find a clean finger from? The boots lady loved it. I was back.
Devil.
I thought, yes, I'm back. This is it, guys. The big time. Sunday night at the London Palladium. Me, Tarby. It's going to be awesome.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are queues on the M40 into London between junction 4 for the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout and 3 for Loudwater because of a vehicle fire. That's causing delays right back from junction 5 for Stokenchurch, although all the lanes are back open again. It's also causing problems on Wickham Road southbound in Bradnam. There are queues between Smalldean Lane and the M40, the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout. On the M1 into London, it's very busy from junction 10 for Luton Airport to 9 for Redbourne, and the A5 nearby has queues between the A505 and Brewers Hill Road in both directions through the roadworks. On the trains, there are some problems. Southern, Virgin Trains, West Coast, they both and London Midland, they all have 20-minute delays between Milton Keynes Central and London Euston because of a signal failure between Tring and Hemel Hempstead. And the London Overground has no service between Watford Junction and London Euston, and the Bakerloo line has severe delays between Harrow and Willesden and Stonebridge Park. Samantha Brough, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A Luton man says he accepts that his fiancée, who was badly injured in the Romanian nightclub fire, will have to remain there for treatment for the time being, despite his desire to bring her home. An 18-year-old man will appear in court today, charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury Town Centre in the early hours of Saturday morning. And parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes have been quadrupled. The changes will be brought in next month in the run-up to Christmas.
Three Counties Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has pledged his country's full cooperation with international anti-doping bodies following allegations of widespread doping in Russian athletics. Mr. Putin has promised a thorough investigation of the claims, but insisted that the problem was not confined to Russia. The search is on for a new England rugby coach after Stuart Lancaster's resignation. Money is no object, according to the RFU. World Cup winner Matt Dawson agrees.
We're the wealthiest rugby playing nation. Get your chequebook out and start paying for it. For once in our lives, be as arrogant as everyone thinks that we are, because we always play it down. So, and it's never going to change. People always think the English are the arrogant rugby playing nation. So why don't we just be arrogant about it and say, right, I don't care whether you're in contract. There's £1 million, there's £2 million, there's £5 million. I don't care. You are the best candidate. Get yourself over here. It's irresistible.
World champion Lewis Hamilton has revealed he was involved in a minor road accident in Monaco on Monday. The Stevenage driver said he made very light contact with a stationary vehicle, but no one was hurt. Hamilton delayed his flight to this weekend's Brazilian Grand Prix until yesterday on medical advice, as he's been suffering with a fever. England's cricketers lost the first one-day international by 6 wickets to Pakistan in Abu Dhabi. England were all out for 216, with Pakistan reaching their target with over 6 overs to spare. In football, Milton Keynes Dons lone striker Sam Gallagher played for England under-20s in their 4-3 defeat by France yesterday. And Luton will have nearly 2,000 fans at next weekend's match at Stevenage after selling out their allocation. The Hatters have sold 1,891 tickets for the game at the Lamex Stadium on November the 21st. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I do apologise if Simon's. But you still here?
I'm still here. Yes.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
What's wrong? How do you mean?
You normally get.
I'm normally out the door. No, I've got to log off, you see, because I've got to move next door to go and sit with Jonathan.
You don't want
nothing
any-
personal. I'm just going to go.
I thought you wanted to hang out, and if you ever, Simon, if you ever want to hang out, you're more than welcome to. Okay.
Can I come to the cafe later as well?
You're always welcome to Kazim. Oh no, he never comes to Kazim
Just feel a
Mix.
bit left out, that's all.
Well, he never has a coffee. I thought it was.
That's weird.
Nil by mouth.
That is weird. He can't still hear me, can he?
I think he might.
Can you hear me, Simon?
Just want to be part of the team.
Okay, because you never have a coffee in the morning when we offer coffee.
Justin brought sausage rolls the other morning. I didn't get one.
Oh, Justin.
Sausage rolls he brought.
I tell you what, it would be inappropriate for you to come to Kazim Mix today because we're actually talking about you.
Oh, right.
But Simon, you are welcome to come with us for a greasy spoon any time you want.
Thanks very much.
Probably
Can we
best
bring you
leave.
anything back?
Sausage
We
roll.
prefer. Oh,
Tell you what, it's probably best Simon just goes now. I think
Yeah.
he's killed
Gosh,
the buzz
it's
a bit. Go on, out you go, fella.
bit
Go on,
awkward, isn't it?
go on. Out you go. Go on. Go and sit
Even though
down.
you like sausage rolls.
Haven't you got to read the news?
Go
Yeah.
on, sit down. Go on. Out you go.
Oh, he's actually really upset. Look.
Unbelievable buzzkill, that
He's
guy.
crying.
I mean, what?
Why does he think we don't invite him? Buzzkill. He just totally sucked the buzz out of the show. He's got the desk is damp from his tears. I mean, I've got to look at a middle-aged man's tears while I'm doing this.
It's going to put me right off my bacon roll, that.
I was gonna get a mega breakfast. I might just have to get a large now. Unbelievable.
Driving us to eat more. It's going to make us fat.
When's Agnew doing the news again?
He never asks for anything, does
No,
he?
of course he doesn't. Blimey. Right, I'm gonna press a button to try and cheer us all up. That's this one. There we go. This is a fun one.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC
All right,
Three
listen,
Counties
here we go.
Radio.
For the last. He's right. Dealey didn't bring in a Greg's, and we get a free Greg's as well. Because we get one free, isn't it? Dealey shouted. Listen, if anyone wants to phone up for the last 25 minutes of the show and make Simon Oxley feel loved, because he is a part of the team, then 03459 455 555. Akbar's in Luton. What would you like to say about Simon Oxley, Akbar?
Good morning, Ian. And yes, Simon, I have heard him over the radio for at least last 10, 15 years. And he has come across as a very decent, quite affable and able person
and that's the skill. The skill, pretending he is a decent, affable, competent person, and that's a trick to be able to hoodwink the audience every day.
Whatever he makes us believe so.
He makes them what?
He makes us all believe so.
He does. He's a good actor. He's a good actor.
Yes.
We love to have Simon, of course, is part of the team.
Wonderful.
What have you called in for, boss?
I welcome the arrival of Indian Prime Minister to this country today.
What?
And with a caveat that he is a very powerful Prime Minister with a very big majority in the Indian Parliament.
That's the rumour.
No, that's a fact, Ian. Given that position, I would expect him to implement 2 UN resolutions on Kashmir issue.
He's not got. Listen, right. So the controversy is right. The Indian president is coming over, right, And
Prime Minister,
apologies. Of course it is. We set up the system. But people are saying, well, Kashmir. What about Kashmir? And no, not the Led Zeppelin tune. The actual the region of Kashmir that is very poorly treated ain't going to get discussed, and nothing's going to happen.
Well, let's hope, and I want to give him benefit of doubt, and I would.
What you think he's going to come to? He's going to come to England and say, "I won't do the accent." While I'm here, just to let you know, Kashmir, sorting it.
No. It's Iain. I don't expect him to do that, but at the same time, he's a man of conscience, and he's a national leader of so many billion people, and there is a UN position. And 2 UN resolutions on Kashmir issue that the people of the state should be given an opportunity to decide their future. And those resolutions are...
Oh, I know, because... Yeah, but listen, Prime Minister Modi, he said, people have approached him, and he said, I'm not interested, I know what I'm doing with Kashmir, I'm not interested. Now, there was supposed to be, what did they call it, a million march, right, where either 1 million people were going to march down in, was it in London, to kind of protest Kashmir, and it was the press release said it'll either be members of the community or a representative of the community. So some people couldn't even be bothered to go and march.
I don't know which million march you are talking about, Iain. There was a big march last year as well. They're about to the best.
Well, you don't even know about march. There was going to be a march of 1 million people going to go and march in London. You didn't even know about it.
No. This time there's going to be no march. People are going to.
No, they've cancelled it.
No, Iain, there was never an idea of a march. What's happening today and tomorrow is that Kashmiri people who are 1.3 million in this country, they are going to go to those two places, Downing Street and Wembley Stadium, and stay outside peacefully.
What's happening at Wembley Stadium?
Well, Wembley Stadium, Mr. Modi is going to Wembley Stadium tomorrow to celebrate his...
I tell you where I got the idea of 1 million march, right? From an email I received from Akbar Dad Khan. That's you. You sent me the email. That's how I found out about it.
Well, I don't think I used the word million march.
You didn't use... You said near enough... No, I've Googled million march. That's the phrase that's being used in the press. You've written quotes. This is you. Near enough 1 million people of Kashmiri heritage will register their peaceful protest either in person or through community representatives.
Right.
So it came from you.
No, it doesn't say that it is going to be 1 million march. What I'm said in that email, Iain, is this, that 1.3 million people will register their protest against Mr. Modi and urge him to honor the UN resolutions in shape of demonstrations. There was no question of
but he's not going to.
No. I would hope.
Well, the million march was October the 26th. There we go. That's when it was supposed to be.
Yeah. That was last year.
Last year.
Today I would also urge. No. There's a British role in this whole thing, and when British left, this issue was dangling in the air, and I would also expect Prime Minister Cameron to say to Mr. Modi, well, Mr. Modi, it's not a big deal, it's not a big issue. It's let's sort it out. And
you're right. He's doing a talk at Wembley Stadium in front of 60,000 Indians.
Yes,
it's a lot of Indians in Wembley. It's a lot. Seriously, you go and see a concert there. Oh, you get there early and go and get some good food. 60. He sold out Wembley Stadium.
They haven't. They're entitled to it. And
he's here because he wants $18 billion. Why would he want dollars from us? Surely he would want pounds. But he's here for money. He'll go, all right, Kashmir, yeah. Now, this financial investment into our country, that's what he's here for.
Well, that's wonderful. If we can persuade him that the Indian companies are going to invest in the Britain, well done us, and well done them. We can build a better future for both Indians.
The thing is, he's in a weaker position than he would be, wouldn't he? Because of the Bihar state elections, he didn't do so well there, so he's weakened.
Yes, he's.
So he doesn't want to rock the boat back home.
No, but this Kashmir issue is an international issue, and I think it can be resolved without causing too much of difficulties.
So the Bihar state elections, and aren't I surprising you with my knowledge on this? I read
go on.
Screens in front of me. The Bihar state elections, he did badly in that, so it means there's already a few things he's tried to get through he can't get through, so he's not going to want to rock the boat by banging on about Kashmir.
He's not going to bang about anything Kashmir, but there's a situation he needs to deal with. Otherwise,
go on, last point.
These are two atomic powers, right? Okay. Indians and Pakistanis, and they are sort of facing each other.
Here's
anything unpleasant could happen.
Here's the thing. Yeah. He's having lunch with the Queen.
That'd be nice.
Wonderful.
How much respect? Even Corbyn would have respect if they all sat down in the Queen's state dining room, right? And she picked up a little bell and rang it, and then the butler came in with a load of little tinfoil trays with cardboard tops and says, "Right, who wants the naan? Who wants now? Right, what we've got here. This one's a bit spicy. You might not like this, Your Majesty. I think that one's hang on." No, that one's all right. This is the hot one. You don't want this one. This is the hot one. Bombay Aloo, anybody? Wouldn't that be awesome, Akbar?
That would be great, and given the strength of subcontinental communities in this country, 20 years down the line, we might see that happening.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. Abdul's not happy, Akbar.
Sorry, who?
Abdul says, get Akbar Khan off before I switch off. Gosh. That's harsh. That's harsh. That's unfair. That's unfair, Abdul. Well, maybe we lost it. Akbar, thank you very much indeed. Dealey.
What about Akbar's armchair? Again, I'm going to push this feature. We get Akbar into an armchair every week, and we talk about the week's topical events.
I mean, that's essentially what he does anyway.
You have your. I'm just going to. If I just press this button, then he goes. We can talk free. You have your own breakfast show now, Justin. Saturday mornings. Mm-hmm. I look forward to listening to that.
Yeah, good luck with it.
I look forward to listening.
Feature.
No, you're all right.
No, he's banned from my show. I'm talking about your programme.
Hang on, why is he banned from your show?
He's not really. He's not really. We have something called the Geezer's Chair. Yeah. I don't think Akbar's quite in that position yet to be in the Geezer's Chair.
Oh, gosh, wow, you're making lots of judgment calls here. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. We're going to do your package after the news and the weather and the what have you. This morning has upset you. Your last tweet, wow. Part 2 is far, far worse. I actually feel sick. I walked out, and I thought you'd had another little brush with death. Your face was grey, ashen, and it was nothing to do with Simon Oxley calling you out on the sausage rolls.
Well, let me just back that up first of all. Simon Oxley, you want a sausage roll. You want me to go to Greggs for you. Let me just tell you, Si, that Greggs is currently shut for a refurb. Okay?
What?
Yeah. Okay, so I've pwned you there, Si.
Well, we're talking about parking in Milton Keynes. Jeez,
I know, incredible. And do you know what? Incredibly, talking about the 2-minute silence yesterday, another bakery there didn't have a 2-minute silence yesterday. They normally do. They didn't this year because Greggs was shut and they were very, very busy because of that. Everyone was going to them instead.
I don't think you can knock small businesses, for carry on serving during the 2-minute silence.
That's fair enough. But this package coming up, I have to say, it's making me question whether I actually want to carry on with this job anymore. I'll be frank with you, it's that bad.
Okay, well, Justin, stay there. He may be handing in his notice live on air. I forgot to mention that we had the 2-minute silence I was in a Costa, just off Oxford Street, and just before it ended, a bus driver walked in, and we all jumped on him and beat him up, and he should get the sack for that. That was disrespectful. Bus driver.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M40 into London from junction 5 for Stoke-on-Church to 3 for High Wycombe East, and that's because of a vehicle fire. It's also very slow on the M1 southbound from junction 11 for Dunstable to 1 for the M1 junction 10 for Luton Airport Spur Road, and on the A10 into London it's slow from Bullsmore Lane towards Southbury Road through the roadworks. On the A414 North Orbital Road in London Coney it's very busy from the London Coney roundabout towards the Park Street roundabout, and there are some problems on the trains. London Midland, Southern and Virgin Trains West Coast have 20-minute delays between Milton Keynes Central and London Euston because of a signalling problem between Tring and Hemel Hempstead. Also, London Overground has a no service between London Euston and Watford Junction, and delays in the rest of the line because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. 8:46, these are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A Luton man says he accepts that his fiancée, who was badly injured in the Romanian nightclub fire, will have to remain there for treatment for the time being, despite his desire to bring her home. An 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury Town Centre in the early hours of Saturday morning, and parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes are being quadrupled.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. We've got some mist and fog patches still out there this morning, but generally it's been quite a nice bright start to the day. And we've got some sunny spells around this morning, and they'll break through where the mist and fog is after the next, not too long after the next hour or so. We've got temperatures at the moment down between 7 and 11 degrees Celsius. It has been a chillier start to the day than we've been seeing of late, but by the time we get to the afternoon we'll be up to around 14 or 15 degrees Celsius. Again, the best of the sunshine through the morning, cloud increasing into the afternoon, as will the southwesterly wind. That's going to pick up as well, but it will be a dry day today. Overnight tonight we've got a narrow band of rain coming through, probably around say 9 or 10 o'clock, along with some squally gusts of wind. That's a cold front, so by the time we start the day tomorrow it's going to be feeling an awful lot more chilly. 7 or 8 degrees Celsius. The air mass is going to be different, so it's going to feel distinctly cooler tomorrow. There'll be some sunny spells, but also some rather blustery showers, with quite a strong gust of wind in places too. And then by the time we get to the weekend it's back to the mild grey stuff really. There'll be some wet weather on and off through the course of the day on Saturday, and it will be rather blustery over the weekend too. That's the forecast.
If you prick us, do we not bleed? I want you with your stab-proof vest on. I want you with your CS gas. We put our lives on the line every time we go out there. If you tickle us, do we not laugh?
Sherlock, any chance of an end date for this speech? Sorry. Off-piste, back now. Phew.
If you poison us, do we not die?
In order to do the terrible things that he does, the killer dehumanizes his victims.
And if you wrong us, do we not revenge?
He's never going to stop. He's just going to keep doing it and doing it, because he'll never get back whatever he's lost.
Compelling characters returning. Pure drama. Only on the BBC.
You speak about pure drama. Justin Dealey may be about to hand in his notice live and air. We've all been there. We've all looked over the edge. We've looked over the precipice and thought, what would it be like to jump? Well, we may be about to discover. Justin, what's going on?
Boss, you've been talking this morning about yesterday's 2-minute silence, and you've been asking this morning, to be fair, during those 2 minutes, what did you think of?
Where else did your mind go?
Yeah, exactly. We had part one of this earlier, where somebody said, what last night at 11 o'clock, no. Yesterday morning at 11 o'clock, we had another man who said that he was working in a shop, so his mind was on keeping time, because he actually announced the 2-minute silence, so his mind was on the time. And he said there was a raucous group of what he described as old people in the corner who wouldn't respect that. His words, not mine. So we thought we'd do part 2 on this.
Yes, mate. Very rare that we get you to do the same Vox twice. Very rare.
Incredible. In fact, I can't think of another example, actually.
No, I don't think it's ever happened.
So part 2 with the same question. Again, some very moving stories, but the guy at the end, this is quite possibly the most ridiculous man I have ever spoken to on the streets. And I've been reporting on your programme for a very, very long time. I got a little bit unprofessional towards the end because he really, really got me.
Not you as well, yes, okay.
But here's what happened.
Okay, be warned.
The people that we lost and the people that are prepared to fight for our country.
And this is not a trick question, but did your mind wander? Were you thinking about other things?
No, I thought about my nephew who's in the Royal Marines, and we want to keep him safe.
So what were you thinking of during those 2 minutes?
My granddad.
I just thought of all of the soldiers and, you know, not just the soldiers, the animals as well. Like, all the people that have died in wars, you know, regardless of religion as well.
Did your mind wander about what you might be doing that evening, or...?
Not really, no. It's a minute silence for them, not for me, so...
I thought of the people that gave up their lives for us and made the country what it is today, really. It's so... Yeah.
You must have thought about other things which affected you as well. And again, I'm not trying to trick you out here. So what else did you think about?
I thought I lost my husband, so I thought of him, and and my parents. I lost them as well. So yeah, you do, don't you?
Yesterday, did you observe the 2-minute silence?
I forgot that it was the 2-minute silence yesterday. Strangely enough, it just completely slipped my mind.
Did you even know what time it was?
Actually, yes, I did. It's normally the 12 o'clock, isn't it?
11.
Oh. With all the things that you've got to remember on the per year, it's pretty hard to remember it among everything else, though, isn't it? Like, say, for instance, you've got to remember Easter, Christmas, Valentine's Day. You've got to remember, 5th of November.
Fireworks night, Valentine's Day, really, really key events in a calendar, aren't they?
Yeah, and then you've also got to remember Halloween.
Halloween as well, another massive event, yeah.
But the thing is that you've got to realise that all these events, they can sometimes make people forget about other events.
Do you know what? I've got to be honest with you, okay? I think your comments are absolutely disgraceful.
Why is that?
You're comparing people who have fought for this country, you're comparing them to Halloween and Valentine's Day. You're not winding me up, are you? You're genuine.
But the thing is that you've got...
I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I don't often do this, but you don't deserve any more airtime. We're going to leave it there. Thanks very much.
Yeah, whatever.
There you go.
There's only guys. Hang on a second. I can lighten the mood. Here we go. Hang on. Here we go. There's only one thing I can do. There's only one thing I can do. And he'll tell her he's working late again, but she knows too well there's something going on. She's been neglected and she needs a friend, so her trembling fingers dial the telephone. Lord, it hurts her doing this again. Who's that? He's the best friend that her husband ever knew. When she's lonely, he's more than just a friend. He's the one she loans her body to. Yeah. Daytime friends and nighttime lovers, hoping no one else discovers where they go, what they do. Ooh, in the secret hideaway. Daytime friends and nighttime lovers, they don't want to hurt the others, so they love in the nighttime and shake hands in the light of day. Oh, there's no mind. There we go, I know. Just a longing for the way things should have been. I'm actually using my proper singing voice now. She wonders why some men never find that a woman needs a lover and a friend. Daytime friends and nighttime lovers, helping no one else discovers where they go, what they do when they secret hide away. Daytime friends and nighttime lovers, hoping no one will hurt the others, so they love in the nighttime and shake hands in the light of day. Daytime friends friends and nighttime lovers. I think I've managed to soften the mood just enough there. Well done, guys. Phew, what a week it's been. What, there's another day? You are shocking me. No. Oh, well. Andy's in Markyate. Andy, in many ways, that song was directed directly at you.
Oh, thank you.
You're very, very welcome. What you got for us, Andy?
Well, I have to say that I think that chap who was just talking to J-Dog about Remembrance Day,
yep.
I think it's unfortunately typical of quite a few people's attitude to Remembrance Day now. I mean, comparing it to Halloween and firework nights, this is the sort of thing that happens these days.
Here's what we need to accept. To some people, Remembrance Day don't mean anything. And that's fine, isn't it?
No, it's not fine. No.
Why, who are you to tell people what they should be moved by, what they should be thinking, whom they should respect, and what they should do? You're nobody. With the greatest of respect, Andy.
Well, the thing is, in that case then, why do we celebrate firework night and Halloween?
Because fireworks are brilliant and my kids love them. Andy? If that beep goes boo, we're in trouble.
Sorry.
Andy?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
What the hell is going on? I'm hearing your thoughts. There's another one. And that one. Stop it. Turn it off.
What?
What's this echo?
It's probably sync.
Hang on a minute.
The sound system.
Kath, you try it.
Hello?
Hello, Catherine.
Hello?
Danny, you try it. Oh, hang on, the mic's not on.
Hello, is that Danny?
Hello, yes.
There's a massive... Hang on, Justin, are you still there? Have you gone?
I'm here.
Right, you try it.
Andy.
Justin.
Andy.
Hello?
Hello?
I agree with you, Justin, totally. I think that bloke was right out of order.
Okay, thank you. What was going on with his line there? That was excitement, wasn't it? Little bit psychedelic. That I enjoyed that. Well, there you go. It's been a. It'd be great.
It's been a show.
It'd be great if this was Friday because we could go. Well, it's been a tough week, but we all survived it. Same time on Monday, but it's not. We've got another day of this nonsense. Matt, morning, Matt.
Morning.
What you got for us, fella? You're the last.
You're a disgrace.
Sorry.
I think you're a disgrace. You should not. If people want to celebrate or Remembrance Day is very important.
But it's up to them.
Know that.
Yeah, but it's up to them. It's up to them. To some people, it's.
No, it's not.
To some, no.
We're losing We're losing everything here.
Who hadn't? Matt, let's think. Who else wanted to control the way people thought and the way they dressed and the way they looked? Oh yeah, a certain gentleman by the name of Mr. Adolf Hitler.
Sorry, no, you're all wrong. What the hell are you comparing Adolf Hitler? He was the one that they were fighting, for God's sake.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There is still long delays on the M40 into London from junction 5 for Stokenchurch to junction 3 for High Wycombe East after a vehicle caught fire. On the M1, it's slow southbound from junction 11 for Dunstable to 10 to Luton Airport. And in Frogmore on the North Bilbertal Road, there are queues southbound from the Park Street roundabout towards the M1 junction 6 for Bricketwood. Not helped by an accident that happened earlier on the M1. The A10's really busy too into London from Bullsmore Lane towards Southbury Road through the roadworks. And there are problems on the trains. There's half-hour delays on London Midland, Southern and Virgin Trains West Coast between Milton Central and London Euston as because of a signalling problem, and there are severe delays on the London Overground between Watford and London Euston. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Thursday. It's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In, How can we stop the antisocial scum on dirt bikes? Many of you will have seen the video on my Facebook page of 3 young scumbags on dirt bikes riding without helmets outside the BBC building here in Grove Park in Dunstable yesterday. They ride with their faces covered to hide their identity, but it would appear their reputation precedes them. Listeners have now told me who they are, how old they are, where some of them live, who else is in their gang, and I have a mobile number for at least one of them. These teenagers have so much contempt for the rest of us that at least one of them has shared the video I posted, commenting with an LOL, and another has even shared a charge sheet he received from Bedfordshire Police, joking about the fact he's been charged with a series of violent and antisocial offences. Well, they have to be stopped. But how? This morning on the Big Phone In, I want your reaction. How can we stop the antisocial scum on dirt bikes? Pick up the phone, come on and have your say. Here's my telephone number. It's 03459 455 555.
This is the JVS Show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'll take your call in just a second, but first let's get the latest BBC News at 9 o'clock. Here's Simon Oxley.
The headlines: Luton man's hospital vigil in Romania, man charged with rape in Aylesbury town centre, and parking charges defended by Milton Keynes Council.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A Luton man says he accepts that his fiancée, who was badly injured in the Romanian nightclub fire, will have to remain there for treatment for the time being, despite his desire to bring her home. Dwayne Mensah spoke to BBC Three Counties from the hospital where partner Elsa Albu is being treated.
They can't move her from one room to another at the moment without there being complications with her breathing, with her oxygenation levels. So they can't move her across the city to the airport, and they definitely can't move her 1,600 miles as it stands. There are no long-term plans. It is a day-by-day process.
An 18-year-old man will appear in court today charged with rape following an incident in Aylesbury town centre in the early hours of Saturday morning. Florin Christian Stajaru of Hilton Avenue in the town was arrested on Tuesday. He will appear at Wickham Magistrates Court. The alleged rape occurred at around 3 a.m. on Saturday in Buckingham Street. African and EU leaders who are meeting in Malta to discuss the migration crisis will sign an agreement designed to reduce the number of people heading for Europe. A fund of £1.3 billion will be created to help improve living conditions in African states. The Home Secretary Theresa May, who's representing the Prime Minister, said stopping traffickers and discouraging people from becoming migrants were both priorities.
We've had very constructive discussions here between African countries and the European Union. But what we're doing in Europe, what the UK is doing, obviously as well as ensuring that we break that link, we smash the gangs. We want to work with African countries, which are the countries of origin for people, to ensure that people don't feel the need to make this journey to Europe.
Parking charges in some parts of central Milton Keynes have been